on, what are you doing in there?
Just studying the world around us.
From my bedroom window, all you can see are telephone poles and the Cleary sisters' apartment.
Yeah. Those telephone poles are really built.
Oh, boy. Am I glad you don't live across the street from me?
I really don't want to discuss
working on that
it
later
anymore.
for 3 weeks. I mean, 3 weeks of my life are going to that. How do you expect me to forget it? Okay.
Don't tell me you did not get the account.
Well, it's weenies and beans time again.
Look, what's the problem? With our cash flow, we can hold out till Wednesday.
Dad, that reminds me. Mom said hi, and the you-know-what check is late again.
Terrific. She told you to say that?
Well, half of it. I added the hi.
Thanks, pal.
Hey, come on, that's for tonight.
Just one.
Wait a minute. Who'd you say was coming over?
Joan Bremen, I knew her in college. She's getting together a whole bunch of girls to try and help this student who's being deported.
Who's that?
Eduardo Diaz.
Hey, is he that field goal kicker for Purdue who blew one against Michigan? They ought to send him back.
If they do, he'll end up in jail.
Missing a field goal?
What did the student do?
Oh, I don't know exactly. It seems while he was up here going to school, his government was overthrown. So now his family's on some kind of list.
Well, can he apply for political asylum?
He did, but he was turned down.
Why?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Sounds like he had your mother in there pitching for him.
Is there no end to your talent? Artist, philosopher, big mouth.
You know, Barbara, I may have a solution for you. Your mother can marry this Eduardo. That'll keep him in the country, and it might do wonders for her disposition.
Dad, I think you just got the 2-minute warning.
I think you're right. Let's go, buddy. Bye, Barbara.
Thanks, Barb.
Bye, Annie.
Bye, Nikki. Barbara, I gotta tell you, I'm glad you're getting involved with your college friends. Maybe it means
Forget
you'll
it, Mom. Okay? I'm not gonna go back to college. Not yet.
go... Okay. Anyway, I'm still glad about this. Sometimes trying to fight City Hall is worthwhile.
Well, isn't it about time I did something worthwhile, something significant? I mean, what do? I get up in the morning, eat cold cereal with low-fat milk, take the number 81 bus to work, mark down volleyballs from $11.99 to $9.99, take the number 81 bus back home. The highlight of my life is deciding whether to wear my Calvins, my Sergio Valentes, or just go for the Jordache look.
Excuse me, but aren't you exaggerating just a little?
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
But I think it is about time that I grew up and got involved. Somebody needs to help Eduardo. It might as well start with me.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do? Sorry, a little bit of the old Barbara slipped out there. Yeah. Maybe we should get started. Since I made the phone calls, let me quickly introduce everyone. This is Carolyn Zaks, who coordinated the anti-nuke rally last March. Carolyn. Fran Murphy, who led the recall initiative against Councilman Fowler.
Oh, that was
Robin Potter, who spearheaded the Clean Air Act. Robin. And Barbara Cooper, who... I'll get more chips. Barbara did volunteer her apartment, and we're going to need all the help we can get to keep Eduardo in the country.
Well, is there anyone at the State Department who'd review his petition for asylum?
State Department? I wish, but they wouldn't want to alienate the junta. We're down there drilling for oil.
Well, I did a little checking, and a federal court judge can issue a stay of deportation order.
Oh, but it'd take weeks to file a brief and get a judge to hear it.
Oh, come on. We gotta come up with an idea.
I have a thought. Well, it's not actually my thought. I mean, my mom's business partner came up with it. He married a citizen.
Hey, that's right.
See, I told you.
It's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a real marriage, and it'd buy us the time we need.
It's a legal loophole, a technicality.
And as soon as Eduardo gets his immigrant status changed... Yeah. Any volunteers? You got it, Robin. I'm proud of you.
No. I was just going to suggest that we draw straws.
Okay, count me in. Well, I mean, it's only for a few days.
Me too. It's only a technicality.
Okay.
All right.
It was my idea. Isn't that enough? Marriage? Come on, I've never even... Okay, I'm in. I mean, it's for a good cause, and it's just a technicality, right?
Right.
Okay, Barbara.
Imagine that, the first thing I ever won, a husband.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Well, how was the meeting? Anything interesting happen?
Oh, you might say that.
Good. Well, did you get involved?
You might say that.
Good. Well, so, what are you going to do for that man?
Marry him.
Barbara? No. You're going to marry that man. Why? To keep him in the country. Excuse me, why you? Came to see who would marry him. I don't believe this. Why don't you play Chinese checkers? At least you're good at that.
Mom, I don't want to marry anybody. I just want to take the number 81 bus to work and mark down a few volleyballs.
Well, why didn't you tell that to the other girls?
I tried, but they were too busy singing and cheering for She's a Jolly Good Person.
I don't believe this. I mean, could you have started off a little easier? I mean, like stuffing envelopes.
Mom, please don't lecture me. Not now. Just give me some of that rock-ribbed Earth Mother advice.
You know what to do. You're going to call him up, tell him you changed your mind, you're not marrying anybody.
You tried telling that to the spearhead of the anti-nuke rally. Who is it?
Eduardo Diaz. From the college, the one you're going to marry.
Oh, yeah, that Eduardo Diaz. Just a minute.
Great.
Great?
Yes. Just be direct. Tell him you are sympathetic, but you're calling the wedding off. Honey, tell him anything you want. I'll be right here.
No. No, you won't be right here, Mom. I'm a big girl now. I can handle this all by myself. I'm just going to look him straight in the eye, and I'm going to say, my mommy won't let me.
Barbara, it is a pleasure.
No, I'm Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, it is a pleasure.
This is my mother. She was just, she was going to go down and visit our super, weren't you,
No,
Mom?
but see, I changed my
Yes,
mind. The
here.
whole thing is, you see, women tend to change their minds.
Well, here we are, just the two of us.
Yes. Uno, dos.
Tres, cuatro.
Oh, you speak Spanish?
Well, only up to 10. Eduardo, please, sit down. I really have to talk to you.
Yes?
I've never been married before.
No, of course. Nor I. Of course, it's not a real marriage. I mean, there would never be... I mean, there wouldn't be any...
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 Oh, that any.
Yes. No. I can't believe you're doing this for me, Barbara. It's...
Me either.
American women are very strong, very courageous.
We are?
Yes. It would be very easy for you just to say, no, I've changed my mind.
Not exactly easy.
You know, it's funny, because even though it's not a real marriage, I wish my parents had met you.
Oh, are they...
No, I don't know. I haven't heard from them in 6 months. I write, but all my letters come back address unknown.
I'm sorry.
No, it's... My father wasn't even involved in politics. He's a quiet man, an architect. But when the generals took over and the thousands were executed and thousands more disappeared, my father had to speak out.
Sounds like a wonderful person. Very brave human being.
Yes, he's very much like you.
Hi. Good. Eduardo, I want you to know that we are deeply sympathetic to your situation.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. But it's getting late, and I better go.
Oh, sure.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, see. see. Darling, he took it very well. I told you that it was best just to be direct, to say what's on your mind and get it over with.
How'd you like to be my maid of honor?
You are not going to marry that man.
Mom, I've made up my mind.
You have not made up your mind. You are not going to marry him.
I am too.
You are not.
Am too.
Are not. The last time we had this conversation, we were talking about Brussels sprouts.
Well, we're not talking about Brussels sprouts now.
Oh, I know. What is in that pea brain of yours? First you drop out of college, now this. I've already had one heart attack.
Mom, please, will you stop throwing guilt? I am finally doing something worthwhile. You should have heard all the terrible things he told me about his government.
Oh, darling, I know. I read the papers. It's a very worthy cause. So is Save the Whales, but you don't have to marry one.
Mano, I got your lamp.
Good, good, wonderful.
I'll plug it in for you.
Okay.
Mom, the man is desperate.
I don't want you marrying him.
Will you please stop worrying? I'll get an annulment.
Darling, there were half a dozen other women involved in this. Why you?
I don't want to marry him. I have to.
You have to?
Would you mind?
What, I mind? Barbara's going to get married. Barbara has to get married. You're asking me if I mind? I mind.
Schneider, I don't have to get married. He has to get married.
Wait a second. The ERA can't do that, can they?
Schneider, bye-bye. Come again some other time. Phone first. Bye.
This union does not have my blessing?
I've made up my mind. So whatever you say will be going in one ear and out the other.
So, what else is new?
Mom, please, will you listen to me? I am doing something important. It feels good.
Darling, there's got to be a better answer.
I hope so. 'Cause I'm really scared as hell, but if nothing else works, I'm gonna go through with this.
So you're really gonna marry that guy, huh?
Nothing else happens.
There we go, 34 points.
Glarts.
To Glartz.
I tell you, this has to have been one of the most frustrating days of my life. I spoke to 3 federal judges. They all need lawyers' briefs. I spent 2 hours with immigration. They all have to check with the State Department. I even went to church, lit 2 candles. They both blew out.
Glarts? Yes, 34 points, don't ask.
Hi.
Hi.
They don't act like they're in love.
Well, our blood test came back, so I guess we're all set.
All set. Yeah, Schneider, this is Eduardo. Eduardo, this is Schneider.
Buenos dias.
Oh, you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I picked up a few phrases on us in the Navy. Buenas noches, señorita. Su casa or mi casa?
Have you ever been to Latin America?
Oh, yeah, I've been all over Latin America.
Yeah.
Montevideo, Pernambuco, Pagoda, Santa Rosa.
I was born in Santa Rosa.
You're kidding?
No.
Gee, I was in Santa Rosa 20 years ago. I met a lovely little girl, flashing brown eyes, Isabella.
Really? My mother's name is Isabella.
Isabella.
Sanchez.
Ah, yeah, mine was O'Reilly.
Well, I'll come over tomorrow morning to pick you up. Go to the city hall, get the license. And... Well, as of midnight tomorrow, I'm either a husband or an illegal alien. It's... Barbara, are you still sure about this?
Oh, sure, fine. Might as well get down there early, find a judge, and do it.
Do it? Do what?
Schneider.
You're a very special person. Well, hasta mañana.
Dan Pico.
Schneider, I want to talk to Barbara.
Oh, sure. You want to talk to Barbara. Everybody wants to talk to Barbara. When they're all through talking to Barbara, Schneider talks to Barbara.
Schneider, adios.
I'm not surprised he blew out your candles.
Mom, I gotta get out of this.
Oh, good. You want out. I will stop Eduardo.
No, don't. I started this. I have to finish it.
Darling, please let somebody else marry him.
Somebody else can always do something. Why can't I? I'm scared I will, and I'm scared I won't. If I don't do this, I'll never do anything.
But, sweetheart, to take those vows and not really mean them just is wrong.
Don't you think I've thought about all that? Falling in love, marrying just once, forever.
Well, then...
Mom, maybe this will make me cherish my real marriage all the more. I'll come to him a better person. Do I sound like Joan of Arc?
A little.
If I do this, Mom, I'm gonna need your support.
You got it. Now my approval. Always my support, sweetheart.
Annie, Schneider, what are you doing here?
I'm guarding the phone in case that senator calls.
Schneider, I have to talk to you.
Oh, hold on, that could be her. Hello? Who? Freddie Stranevsky? Are you a senator, Freddie? A sophomore. No, you can't go out with Barbara tonight. Well, she's getting married. Yeah, I know. I'll call her Monday.
Listen, Schneider, I just spoke to my lawyer about it.
Good news?
And bad news. Barbara's under the impression that she can get an annulment, but you can't under these circumstances.
Holy moly, what's the good news?
That is the good news. The bad news is that if you marry an alien just to keep him in the country, it's considered a crime and you can get 5 years in jail.
5 years?
5 years.
Poor Barbara. Married, divorced, an ex-con, and still a...
Schneider, where are Annie and Barbara?
Well, they're down at the courthouse. She could be getting married any minute.
Let's go! Come on!
By the authority vested in me by the state of Indiana, I now pronounce you man and wife. Kiss the bride. Good luck to you. Next.
Barbara, here. It just didn't seem right without flowers. Thanks, Joan.
Just relax. It's no worse than a tetanus shot. All right, this won't take a minute. Here we are. Do you, Blanche, take Sydney?
I'm not Blanche.
Oh. Then I guess you know that means you're not Sydney.
Look, could we just get on with this, please?
Oh, good. Excuse me, officer. We're looking for a judge who marries people.
We're really in a hurry.
Yeah, Judge Marston, downstairs, end of the hall.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
I'd give it 6 months.
Righty, here we go. Do you, Eduardo, take Barbara for your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
Do you, Barbara, take Eduardo for your lawful wedded husband?
Mom, please don't say anything. I do.
Then by the
No,
authority...
she doesn't.
What?
We're not getting married. Barbara, you don't want to do this.
Eduardo!
Look, don't ever let anybody tell you don't have courage. You do. More than I do. It's embarrassing. My country's in trouble. People fighting to save it. And I'm here hiding behind a wedding ceremony. I can't do that. I have to go back.
They'll put you in jail.
Maybe. Maybe not. If enough people speak out, they can't arrest us all. Mira mía.
Oh, my God, Schneider, we're too late.
Barbara, you could get 5 years in a pokey.
Barbara, I know we can get a quickie divorce. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Freddie Sinetsky called. Yeah, change his name from Eddie.
God be with you.
Next.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, It's flight 14 to Chicago at 4:30 this afternoon. That's right. Look, I've got to get on that flight. I have an important business meeting. Yes, I know it's snowing, but could you ask them to plow the field fast, please? Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
It's snowing.
I know. We're going to miss that dumb flight you booked us on.
You blaming me for the snow?
No, of course I'm not blaming you, but... I'm sorry. I'm really uptight about this trip. You know, if we miss the flight, we're going to miss the meeting. If we miss the meeting, then we're going to lose the account. If we lose the account, we're going to be broke.
You mean broker?
What difference does it make, Nick? Broker. We're not going to have any money, right?
Snowing.
I know.
Hi, Miss Romano.
Hello, Alex.
Boy, is she uptight.
I know.
Hey, did you guys come here for any other reason except to make me crazy?
And I thought it was cold in the car. Dad, I think we should go.
Yeah, okay, Alex. Look, Annie, I don't have much time. I have to take Alex home. I just want to borrow a suitcase.
Wait a minute. We're leaving this afternoon and you don't have a suitcase?
My ex-wife got the luggage.
Dad got the backpacks.
You don't want me to stay at the Biltmore in a backpack, do you?
The Biltmore? Isn't that rather expensive?
Well, we can't exactly invite Fisher to lunch at the Y.
I've got an idea.
Annie, a suitcase?
One of us can stay at the Biltmore. And you can stay at the Y.
Dad, can we get going, please?
Yeah, okay, Alex. Look, Annie, stop worrying. When we land this account, we'll have plenty of money.
If we land this account.
Well, if you just sit back and let me do the talking, we'll be fine.
Should I wear a veil?
Yeah. You might put on one of those skirts with a slit in it.
Oh, gee whiz. Sorry, golly, I didn't realize you were that close.
It's perfectly all right.
Pink suitcase?
It's Barbara's.
Dad, we've really got to get going.
You want me to stay at the Y with a pink suitcase? I'll get killed.
Oh, wow, I never thought of that.
Dad, we really should be going now.
Oh, Annie, I forgive you. I know you've been working hard and you're uptight about the business trip. You can't help it if you're in one of your typical foul moods. Let's go, Alex.
There's no hurry now. The snowplow just covered your car.
Oh, no. This is going to be one of those weeks.
I think so.
All right, Alex, here, you take the suitcase.
Is there a back exit to the building?
Get out.
Finish packing, Mom?
No. I can never decide what to take. I always pack too much. All right, okay, help me out here. Should I take this or this?
Well, you want to get some sleep or you want to get lucky?
If I'm lucky, I'll get some sleep.
Chicago, that darling town. Chicago, I'll show you around.
You've been there?
Oh, I love it. Bet you bottom dollar, you lose your...
Snyder, was there something that you wanted?
Yeah, well, I just came by. I want to tell you about a nifty little Windy City night spot.
Well, I don't think that we're going to be able to...
Cha-Cha Cafe and Billiard Parlor.
Mom, do you think you and Nick will get to see any nightlife?
No, I don't want to spend any more time with Nick than I have to.
Uh-oh. Fighting again, huh?
No. We never actually fight. He's more of a constant, nagging pain. Like a toothache.
Maybe you should take a break from each other.
Well, we can't take a break from each other. We're going to Chicago together. We're staying in a hotel together. In separate rooms. Schneider, this is strictly business.
Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, your business is, none of my business.
He did make a crack about us sharing a room.
He did.
Yeah, but just to get my goat.
It's one way of putting it.
Wait a minute. Mom, maybe this explains why you and Nick are so uptight with each other.
What are you talking about?
I think Nick is probably suffering from sexual tension.
Excuse me?
You know how men are, Mom.
No. How are they, daughter?
They think that every relationship has sexual undertones.
Or overtones, or side tones, or half tones.
Come on, you two. Every relationship.
Tell you something, Mr. Romano. I think the kid here hit the nail right in the head with that sexual tension thing.
Okay, if Nick is really feeling that way, why hasn't he acted upon it, huh?
Let me give you a little insight into the male psychosis, okay?
Okay.
A male is not going to show his true colors unless the female intimates a certain curiosity.
What?
Well, a man needs encouragement. He needs reassurance, a toss of the head, a wink of the eye, a flash of thigh. You haven't been given that to Nick.
I know. I don't want to.
Yeah, but that's what's bugging him.
Do you really think so?
Trust me, the guy is going to continue to give you trouble until you either set him straight or set him free.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
It's a law of nature.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to talk to Nick.
Good for you.
I'm going to tell him this is purely a business relationship.
Good.
Yeah, that there's no way that anything physical could ever happen between us. No way. And that's it. He's just going to have to learn to live with it, right? Right.
Minute. Hi, come on in.
Hi.
Oh, good. This is great. You're just in time. Here, would you put this in there, please?
Yes, sure. Nick, there is something I would like to discuss with you.
Sure, go ahead. Is that all you women think about?
Oh, witty, Nick. That is really very witty. No. Nick, I came in here to discuss why it is that we're always arguing.
You're the one who always argues.
What do you mean I'm the one who always argues?
That's what I mean.
Okay, look, I just want you to know that I understand why it is that you get irritated with me.
You do?
Yes, I do. You see, it's not uncommon for men to find it difficult to be just friends with a woman.
I didn't know we were friends.
Well, you know what I mean. We work together, we travel together, and now we're in a hotel together.
Hey, we're making progress.
No, we're not, Nick, and that is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sorry if, when we're together, you feel a certain amount of sexual tension.
Sexual tension.
Yes. You see, I understand that you are fighting the laws of nature.
Sexual tension.
Yes, but you're going to have to learn to deal with it, Nick. Nick, what's so funny? Nick?
I just well, okay, I was just a little bit embarrassed.
Oh, that's okay.
No,
Nick.
it's not. No, it's humiliating. I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything.
No, wait,
really.
I better say something.
Oh, Nick.
All right, Annie, look, I have never thought of you that way.
You haven't?
Oh, good Lord, no. I mean, I have no sexual designs on you whatsoever.
You don't?
Of course not. I mean, come on, Annie, you're my business partner.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, though. I am glad you brought it up.
Why is
Because
that?
with women, you see, you have to clear things up right away. Otherwise, they think that every relationship is going to be sexual. So, you know, I got to get to work on my layout. So maybe we'll have breakfast together tomorrow morning and go over the whole presentation.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, Bob. Oh, Annie?
Uh-huh.
Don't worry. Your virtue is safe with me. Sexual tension.
That's how women are. They think every relationship is sexual. Oh, men. Oh, my God. He probably thinks that I'm attracted to him. He probably thinks that I'm the one who is sexually frustrated. Sexually frustrated. Oh, no. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely humiliating. I've got to talk. Mature. Calmness now. Calmness. I've got to talk to him. I've got to tell him that this is not the way things are. I've got to set the record straight. This could totally ruin our professional relationship together, right? Okay. So you just have to go and talk to him and tell him that's the way things are. You have no sexual designs on him whatsoever. Okay? Okay. Look, hi. I'm really sorry. I thought that I must be confused.
Who the hell is knocking on the door at this... Eddie!
I see you two have met.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Good morning.
Morning.
You sleep well?
Yes, thank you. Did you... Never mind. I ordered breakfast. It'll be right up.
Oh, that's great. I'm starved.
Yeah, I just bet you are.
Listen, Annie, I think we better clear this up about Brenda.
No, I don't want to clear it up about Brenda. I don't care about Brenda. Whatever you do in your Neanderthal hours is entirely up to you.
Of course you care about Brenda. You wouldn't be female if you didn't. Look, Brenda and I went to the Chicago Art Institute together.
Can we discuss business, please?
And then we worked together for a while at the same ad agency.
I really don't care about this.
She practically saved my life when I was getting a divorce.
Bully for her.
I was a basket case, but she helped pull me through. I remember one night there was this big mix-up.
She was wearing the pajama bottoms and you were wearing the tops.
Look, Annie, if you're going to be tacky about this, I'm not going to explain it to you. In fact, why am I explaining it to you?
I really have no idea. Excuse me?
Certainly.
Morning.
Good morning.
Reindeer is fine, thank you. I ordered you eggs.
That's fine. Sounds great.
You have a brother.
I'm sorry?
Could have sworn I just served you breakfast across the hall. No, I guess not. Had a cute wife, though. Except that I really didn't think it was his wife. You can always tell. Big tips.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, you guys could have been twins.
Had a coffee and roll, okay?
I don't care. I really don't. I've forgotten about the whole thing already. Could we just get down to business, please?
Yes, business, of course. You're really gonna love the work I did on this.
You mean you found time to work?
Just what do you think I was doing yesterday, huh?
Ooh, last time I saw you were cavorting around in half of your pajamas.
This is really getting to be an obsession with you, isn't it? Well, if you're not here to work, I am. So I'm gonna show you my layout. What do you think, Annie?
It's terrible.
You didn't even look.
Still terrible. Looks like you spent maybe 2 minutes on it. I'm really disappointed in you, Nick.
Annie, I don't think you're being fair.
And you think you're being fair, dragging me all the way to Chicago, supposedly to work, and then spending all of your time in bed with Brenda.
We did not spend all of our time in bed. Oh, I thought you didn't care what we did.
I don't care, Nick, except that it does affect your work.
Oh, no, nothing has affected my work.
Well, I am sorry, Nick, but this layout is certainly not up to par.
Well, I want to tell you something. Brenda loved it.
Oh, Brenda loved it. Isn't that terrific? Well, why don't you and Brenda have that meeting with Fisher, huh?
Maybe we should, but you happen to be my partner.
I wasn't last night.
Will you leave my personal life out of this?
Will you?
Right.
What was that, Nick? Charity? Thank you, kind sir.
I felt you respond.
It was a lip twitch.
Okay, Annie, okay. Maybe I felt myself respond.
But you never thought of me that way.
Well, that's because I thought that you never thought of me that way.
I didn't think I thought of you that way. Maybe I wasn't thinking. I can't believe this.
Neither can I.
Oh, this is awful.
It's terrible.
It's terrific.
It's fantastic.
Hi there.
And where have you been?
Chicago, Chicago.
You were supposed to come home last night.
I know, honey. I called.
You called? Do you want to know what you said? Send a bottle of champagne to room 762, then you hung up.
I see. That's why we never got the champagne. I must have told room service I'd be home tomorrow.
You know how worried Barbara was?
I'm sorry.
You know how worried I was?
Sorry.
Any idea how worried we were?
We called the hotel. They said you were there, but you were not to be disturbed.
Not to be disturbed.
Not to be disturbed.
Didn't the trip go well?
Yes, it went very well.
Get the account?
No. We lost the account.
Usually the body goes first and then the mind.
Mom, are you all right?
I'm wonderful.
Your problem with Nick, did you clear that up?
He kissed me.
He kissed you?
He kissed her.
He kissed her.
I thought you were going to set him straight.
Well, we talked, and then he spent the night with Brenda, and then he kissed me.
Spent the night with Brenda? Then he kissed you? Guy did okay for a guy with a pink suitcase.
Who's Brenda?
Oh, it was all just a misunderstanding. We had our wires crossed.
Who's Brenda?
It took tall, willowy Brenda to make me realize how I felt about Nick.
Who's Brenda?
And what's her phone number?
Okay, so what happens now?
Well, I try to find a phone number.
No. I mean, with Mom and Nick.
I don't know. I'm in a state of shock.
Well, I'm not in a state of shock. I'm not surprised at all. Huh? Strange city, hotel room, champagne, a woman in the prime of her middle age. Hasn't had a date in weeks. She's bound to make a fool out of herself.
Schneider, thank you.
De nada.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hi.
Return of the Pink Panther.
I brought the suitcase back.
You didn't have to bring it back so soon.
I waited as long as I could.
Let's take a hike.
Yeah, I know a good trail. Trees are good.
Oh.
For you.
Aw. For you?
This is definitely nicer than it was before.
Yes. I always preferred kissing to fighting.
But this is definitely mixing business with pleasure.
I know. I can't wait till the office Christmas party.
I forgot to tell you, I checked with the service.
Mm-hmm.
The Mitchell Lamp account people called. They moved the meeting up to tomorrow morning.
What you are trying to tell me is this is the end of pleasure and the beginning of business.
Right.
Damn. But I do have an idea for that lamp account.
Yes?
You turn me on.
Thanks. But what's the idea?
No. That is the idea.
Oh.
See, you draw a lamp with a little face in it, and then you have a caption, and that reads, "You turn me on."
Aha.
I think it's cute.
It's too cute. You can't have a lamp with a face on it. That's ridiculous.
What is ridiculous about that? I happen... Okay, maybe you're right.
Okay, Annie. Okay. Look, how about this? We have a headline that says Charge of the Light Brigade, and I draw a picture of a guy on a horse with a sword in one hand and a lamp in the other.
You're joking. You're not.
What's wrong with it?
Well, it's bad. It's just really very bad.
I think it's clever. I think it's unique. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Now, this is from a woman who wants a lamp to talk.
Well, look, it's a lot better than charging into the valley of death with the light brigade. I mean, all your ideas are not golden, you know.
Oh, you're right. For example, teaming up with you.
Well, I thought things had changed.
Some things never change.
Even after last night?
Last night was personal.
So, where are we?
Your idea was lousy.
So was yours. Oh, damn, you sure can kiss. I wish you could think.
Wait a minute. You haven't had a thought on this whole project.
Now, hold it a minute, Handress. I really...
I'll do the talking.
Last time you did the talking, we lost the account.
Well, if you come up with an idea that's good, we wouldn't have lost the account.
Watch it, Handress. You're getting red in the face.
Well, at least I don't use dye to get that color.
Hey!
There we go.
Okay. There you go.
All right, now you gotta hear this. You gotta hear this.
Okay.
The only thing standing between me and the agony of victory is the 7-pin.
Oh, jeez. He telling that story again?
Yeah. And then my pal here, right? He comes up to me and he says to me, just because all your large brothers are here, don't mean you have to choke up and throw the ball in the gutter. That's my pal. That's Beer Belly. There he is.
What are pals for?
And then his wife here, right? She decides she's gonna give me a little advice.
All I said was keep your head up, your knees bent, your wrists locked, and your eyes shut.
That's what my mom told me to do on my first date. So, how'd he do?
Oh, 9 came through.
I don't want to tell you it was close, though, man. That 7-pin was going to watch it.
Yeah. Then I give it a little body English.
I want to tell you the whole joint was shaking. It was like 5.4 in the Richter scale.
Did you get a trophy?
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to get a trophy. That's what they say. But I tell you the truth, I think they took all the money spent it on beer.
Not all of it. Ta-da! Selma and I picked it up on the way over.
You son of a gun. And you son of a gunness.
Come on, Annie. Make the presentation.
Oh, no, me.
Come on. Go ahead.
Okay.
Make it.
All right,
make
I'll do it. I'm going to do it right now. Okay, Schneider, I will read the words inscribed on this trophy by your friends. Bowler of the Year, 1954.
We got a deal on it.
First place, Sister Mary Frances.
We'll tape over that. Unless you want it.
Maybe it's blessed.
Here you go.
Gee, I don't know what to say. I got a lot of people to thank for this. I'd like to thank my parents. The U.S. hockey team. The Navy. A certain Miss Tina Buccaro, who taught me how to relax under pressure. I want to thank all my friends who stood by me, who never lost faith in me. To you and to you and to you and to you. This is a day that I'll never forget, because how could forgetfulness be part of an unforgettable event?
Schneider, that was memorable.
Yeah. Real memorable. What was it you said?
I tell you, it's disgusting to see friends get along as well as you guys do.
Hey, listen, we were once part of a barbershop quartet until Belly here married the soprano.
I don't even want to think about how long ago that was.
Let's go down to Schneider's place, and we'll put that trophy in a place of honor, huh?
No, why don't you just go work? Hey,
No, come on, now, right now. Come on, no, come on. Come on.
We better.
You know, we never got one, you know this?
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
I never offered you my congratulations.
Well,
Hey, you guys, we're in for the elevator.
no, there's nothing in your eye. It's a little red, that's all. Hi, Mr. Romano.
Hi, Schneider.
Hi.
Listen, have you got any neck crick pills? I got a crick in my neck.
Told you not to sleep with the trophy under your pillow.
No, it wasn't that. We went out disco dancing last night after we left you guys.
Oh, okay. Sit down. I'll give you the famous Romano rub.
Don't be too rough, man.
I won't. I'll be careful. Come on, sit down.
I want to tell you, that Selma is some dancer. She has got all the moves.
You're not kidding.
Look, Schneider, doesn't Beer Belly mind?
Mind what?
Well, you know, you're dancing with his wife so much.
Nah, he don't... Oh, I get it. Barbara saw Selma give me the kiss yesterday, and now she's going right from that to first degree hanky-panky.
Come on, Schneider. Eyes closed, lips quivering, nostrils flaring. That wasn't hanky. It was definitely panky.
We're all close together. Selma, me, and Beer Belly were like the Three Musketeers.
That should be better.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it feels better. Yeah, thanks. As a matter of fact, I have an appointment with one of the Musketeers today.
Which one?
Selma Musketeer.
What for?
Going out to lunch.
Lunch?
Yeah, she wants to plan a surprise party for Beer Belly.
Barbara, you should apologize to Schneider for jumping to the wrong conclusions.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where are you going for lunch?
Well, she suggested this place, the Rendezvous Room at La Petite Vagabond.
I've heard about that place. I hear it's a very intimate hideaway. Not a hideaway, it's secluded. Hidden.
She said they have great air conditioning.
Bonjour, monsieur. I am your waiter, Ricky. Can I to get you a cocktail before your guests arrive?
No, I don't think so, Ricky. I'm just gonna wait. She should be here any minute.
If I may suggest, if she's anything like my wife, I think you should order now.
No, I'm not married. This is my best friend's wife. I'll have a double bourbon in the rock.
At the very least.
Oh, Schneid, I'm so sorry I'm late.
Wow, gee whiz. You look terrific, Selma.
Oh,
you got an appointment after our lunch or something?
Yeah, maybe. Well, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You're here.
And you're here.
And I am here. A double bourbon on the rock. And I brought two just in case the madame wanted one.
Madam doesn't drink bourbon.
Leave it.
Of course, your menu.
So, what kind of a surprise party are we talking about for Beer Belly?
Oh, a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the occasion?
His birthday.
Selma, his birthday isn't for 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, that way we can have a lot of planning meetings.
Yeah, do a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see on the menu here. The, soup de jus looks pretty good. What are you gonna have?
You.
Me?
Madame look famished. The specialty today is breast of chicken with wild rice, a hot dish for a cold day.
I already have a hot dish for a cold day.
We'll have 2 number 3s.
Monsieur, this is not Le Pizza Hut.
Would you bring us 2 specials, please?
Certainement.
Schneid,
Yeah.
do you remember Monte Carlo night at the lodge?
No, I don't remember.
We danced to the theme of The Godfather.
No, I don't.
La, da, 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 da.
Does Madame take requests?
I'm just crazy about you, Schneid, and I know you're nuts about me.
Listen, Selma, you can't. This is all wrong. You can't talk like this. Beer Belly is my best friend. I mean, in my whole life, I never had a friend like Beer Belly.
Oh, I just can't fight it anymore, Dwayne. Now, look me in the eye and tell me that you don't find me attractive.
Well, I can't say that, Selma. You're an attractive woman.
Tell me you don't think about me.
Oh, I don't.
You do.
I don't.
How can you say that?
Well, it's true. Sometimes I think about you.
Yeah? When?
Sometimes at night.
Yeah?
We're strolling along a deserted beach together.
We are? Where?
New Jersey. Yeah, it's a place I used to go when I was a kid. It's a very lovely beach. You don't get too much tar on your feet. Selma, I can't be telling you all these things.
Yes, you can. Go on.
Well, we're lying together on a blanket.
Yeah?
It's an army surplus blanket. It's woolen, so it's very itchy, you know, but so what?
Yeah, right, so what?
Anyway, stars are out, the seagulls are flapping overhead, and you and I, we're scratching from the blanket, and we're ducking from the seagulls.
Yeah, and then what?
And Willie Mays comes to bat.
What?
Because I go right out to the old polo grounds because this fantasy is all wrong. This is all wrong. I mean, you and me and the stars and the waves and the tides and the seagulls, it's all wrong. You don't want to go sneaking around behind Beer Belly's back, Selma.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna tell him.
Schneider, we're really sorry to bother you in the middle of the night, but the steam from that pipe is really driving us crazy, you know?
Well, sometimes those pipes drive us crazy. Besides, I didn't get much sleep. I was thinking about Willie Mays. I need a plumbing wrench for this job here.
So, how'd lunch go today?
Oh, it's fine. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs.
Yeah? When's the party?
The what?
Party for Beer Belly.
Oh, the party. Yeah, that's coming up. That's coming right up. We talked all about balloons and streamers and party favors. Look at this. Life of a maintenance engineer is a 24-hour thing. I mean, you try to get some sleep, you can't even...
I did it, Schneid. I left Beer Belly. It's just you and me.
Selma.
Honey?
Oh, boy, I think I better go.
Barbara, please. Selma, you can't stay here.
Why not? Didn't you say that if Beer Belly wasn't in the picture, everything would be okay? You said that, didn't you?
Schneider, I really should go.
Please, Barbara.
Oh, this is a fine how do you do. I leave a marriage of 20 years and rush right into instant rejection. I'm a fool, aren't I, Barbara?
Oh,
just
Selma.
tell me this, Barbara. If you loved someone, wouldn't you give up everything for that love?
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, that's someone involved, you know, like your best friend. That would change things, right?
Well, it could...
Even if this best friend treated his wife like dirt once, nodding off in the middle of making whoopee while muttering, "I'll have another Schlitz Light."
I really don't think I should be listening to any of this. He fell asleep?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Schneider, why don't you just fix that pipe in the morning, okay? I really gotta go.
No. I'm gonna come right up and fix that now. Listen, Selma, you just, you just relax and take it easy. There's a little beer in the fridge there. You can have that. I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll talk this thing through.
Oh, that's the Schneider I know. Virile and strong and in command. Don't be too long. La da 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 da.
Schneider, I want you to listen to me. I have seen Selma and Beer Belly together over the years, and believe me, this has less to do with you than it does with Phil Donahue.
What?
Yes. Women today are bombarded with television shows and books and magazines telling them how unhappy they are, how they have to make changes in their lives. Selma looks at you and probably thinks the grass is greener. Look, the point is Selma hasn't lived with you. She's been with Beer Belly day in and day out for 20 years. She's seen the warts.
Right. And next to a wart, you look good.
Nah. Schneider, look, I think I know you pretty well, and I care about you. I do. So, no matter how tempting this may be, you gotta put a stop to it, or you're not gonna be able to live with yourself.
Oh, listen, I know that, Miss Romano. That's why nothing has ever happened past 20 years. It's just that, I don't know, she's like forbidden fruit. Like a papaya. Or a mango. Or a piñata.
Schneider, come on. Get her out of your apartment, huh?
Right, because if Beer Belly catches her down there, you've bought your last sump pump.
Boy, you're not kidding. I once saw him clean out an entire bar just because a guy winked at Selma. Turned out the guy had a nervous twitch, you know. You don't have it no more.
Well, then you better get moving. Come on.
Gotta figure out what to say. Wait a second. What about you and the pipe? You people are never gonna get any sleep.
It's not important.
Well, of course I gotta fix it.
Well, Mom, I've learned one thing from all this.
What's that?
Never going bowling with another man's wife.
Hi there. Beer Belly, what a pleasant surprise.
Where's Schneider? I gotta find him.
Who?
Schneider. I'm looking for him. I just came up from his place.
Uh-huh. Well, is there anything wrong?
It's personal.
Personal.
Very personal.
Well, would you like a cup of coffee?
No, coffee is not a good idea. No, it's in there. No, and particularly my coffee, because I make lousy coffee. A good idea is to have coffee from an all-night diner, okay? So, why don't you come with me? Because sometimes it's easier to talk about personal things with an impersonal person. Know what I mean?
No.
Well, that wasn't too hard. I just... Belly.
Schneider!
Now, don't do nothing crazy, will you? It can all be explained, Billy!
God, I found you. I just was down at your place. No one answered. What can be explained?
Well, the fact that I'm up here with these ladies at 3 in the morning, they had a broken steam pipe. It was making a lot of noise.
Schneider, I'm a wreck. This is the worst night of my life. I need you, old buddy. You're all I got left.
And all you got left?
Yeah. My little Selma left me. I woke up in the middle of the night and there's a note stuck on my six-pack.
A note?
Yeah. She left me for some creep.
Did the note describe the creep?
No. But when I get my hands on him... You know something? She must have been building up to this for a long time, sneaking around behind my back. And what I found in the bottom of her purse? A matchbook.
Aha, you caught her smoking.
The rendezvous room. Schneider! Why would she leave an A-number-1 guy like me, huh?
Hard to believe.
I mean, do you see me running around with other women? Don't I come home straight from work every night just to watch the game? And on our anniversary, wasn't it me who took her to Breffney's beer garden for Lowenbrow? Oh, what am I boring you girls with this problem? Let's go down to your place. Come on.
No, listen, let's go on over to the boom boom room.
Boom boom room? Dressed like that?
Well,
What's wrong with your place? Unless you got a bimbo down there.
If I had a bimbo down there, would I be up here talking to you?
Come on, let's go.
Goodbye.
Billy, if I open this door, things may never be the same between us.
What the hell are you talking about?
There's something I gotta tell you, Billy.
Okay. Open the door, we'll have a beer and sit down.
Billy, this may hurt, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Selma didn't leave you.
What do you mean she didn't leave me?
Nah, she left some clown masquerading around in your place. Look at you. I mean, look at you, Billy. Look what's happened to you. When you look, you used to take care of yourself. There was a snap in your stride and a click in your heels. I mean, you used to dress terrific.
What are you giving me?
I'm giving you the truth, Billy. Somewhere along the line, you stopped caring about yourself. But what's worse, you stopped caring about Selma.
What are you talking about?
Billy, now listen to me. When we go to a club, who winds up dancing with Selma? I do. Because you're too busy guzzling beer and taking Selma for granted. She didn't run out on you. She didn't run out on you. You left her a long time ago. I love you, Belly. I love you, and I love Selma. I think you guys are terrific for one another. I gotta tell you something, pal. You got nobody to blame for this but yourself. Well, maybe that's not altogether true. That's all I gotta say, Kate. Go ahead. You want to take a punch at me? Go ahead. Give me your Sunday best. There it is.
You're right. You're right. I had the greatest woman in the world, and I blew it. I blew it. She was my life, you know that? Snyder, my life. I loved her more than anything in the world. I lost it.
Oh, sweetheart, you didn't lose me. Here I am.
Selma!
Oh, Mom, you feel any better? You don't, do you?
Darling, do you know what it's like to feel so rotten and miserable that you wish you were dead?
Yeah.
I'd give anything to feel that good.
Well, here, have some yogurt. You'll feel better.
I'm sick. I'm not on a diet.
Come on, you haven't eaten a thing all day.
Yes, I have. I've had 4 aspirin and 6 vitamin C and 2 spoonfuls of cough syrup and a package of Rolaids and some milk of magnesia. I'm stuffed.
You expecting anyone?
Oh, just a man dressed all in black with a sickle in one hand.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, boy, you still got it.
Thank you, Nick.
No, I mean the flu. Boy, you look lousy. Or maybe I'm not putting this well. I'm sorry you have the flu.
Thank you, Nick. Stand still.
Annie, I can't stay long. I spoke to the Henderson Dairy people, and they said our meeting is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Oh, wonderful.
Where's the copy?
I'm working on it.
Good. Can't you type any faster, Annie?
Nick, you are lucky I am moving at all.
You really resent me being well, don't you? Well, it so happens you picked a lousy time to catch the flu.
Look, Nick, don't worry about me, okay? I will be there tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and I will have that copy if it kills me. Just might.
You know you have a nice rosy color.
I got a fever.
Ah, well, I'm not going to kiss you goodbye. I don't want to catch the flu, okay? Okay, I'll see you, Barbara. Bye, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Why am I crazy about him?
It's cute, I guess.
Oh.
Hello? Oh, hi, Grandma. Just a second.
No, if she finds out I'm sick, she'll be over here and she's not going to leave me alone. I've got a lot of work to do. Okay, make up anything, whatever it is, but don't tell her I have the flu. This meeting tomorrow is a must.
Grandma, hi. Mom can't come to the phone right now because she's really busy. Oh, sure, yeah, everything's fine. Coughing? No, it's, probably a dog barking in the next apartment. Oh, right, Schneider doesn't permit dogs. Then it's a trained seal. She wants to come over. No, Grandma, you don't have to come over. No, really, you shouldn't come over. No, don't come over. Okay, bye. She's coming over.
Oh, why isn't your sister here when I need her? She's always been able to lie better than you. A trained seal.
4 seconds. Okay. Okay.
Give it to me straight.
99.
No, it can't be 99.
Yes.
Somebody who feels as rotten as I do should at least have the privilege of having a temperature of 112. 109, rock bottom. Oh.
Hi there, Miss Mono.
Hi, Schneider.
Feeling better?
Well, how do I look?
Have you called the priest?
I heard that.
You should be in bed.
I can't sleep.
Why don't you put yourself in my hands? I'll have you in bed before you know it. I think you may have misunderstood that.
Doesn't make any difference. The way I feel, I don't even care what you meant.
Well,
Here, take this. It's good for what ails you.
What is it?
Tequila gumbo soup.
Do you heat it?
Never over an open flame.
Thank you, son. I'm gonna pass.
Terrific recipe. I got it from a little nurse down in Mexicali. She was...
I'll pass.
All right. It ain't gonna cure you. But you drink this, you're gonna forget you're sick.
Look, Mom, why don't you just go to bed? You need your rest.
I can't sleep. I wish I could. This meeting tomorrow is a must. Oh, it's got to be my mother. Don't forget. Don't say a thing about my being sick.
Mum's a word.
All right, how do I look?
Maybe you better call that priest.
Okay, now, keep her at 20 paces. I don't want her to see the reds of my eyes.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, honey.
Hi there, Catherine.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, listen, I just came by to return the salad bowl I borrowed last week.
Grandma, thank you for the... But this isn't our salad bowl.
I know. Well, see, yours was so old and scratched up. I threw it away and bought you a new one.
Oh, that's nice. Our car is all old and scratched up, too.
Hey, Mom, I sure would love to chat, but boy, I got lots of work to do. Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, well, don't you want to at least try out your new salad bowl? I brought all the ingredients for a Caesar salad.
Oh, yum.
Oh, Caesar salad. I love that. Oh, yeah. Croutons and cheese and anchovies and crisp lettuce. Of course, on the other hand, anchovies are an endangered species. They're right up there with whales.
Mom, boy, maybe we'll talk next week. I am so busy. Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bye, Grandma.
yeah,
Thanks
bye,
for bringing
yeah.
the salad.
Honey, promise that we'll get together next week, okay?
Next week, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Grandma.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Was that a cough?
Cough? What cough?
That cough. Are you all right?
I'm fine. Really, I'm fine.
You have a fever.
No, I don't.
You do. I feel it.
No, your head has a fever.
I think she's on to you.
Okay, look, so I'm a little sick.
Uh-huh. And sit down. Barbara, get some cold cloths.
Yes, ma'am.
Schneider, bring up a roll-away bed. This big one. Here we go. There. Oh, honey, just look at you. Oh, Annie, you're so tense. Now listen, sweetheart. Just sit right back and relax, okay?
Okay.
There we go.
But what do you do? No, Mom, you don't need to do that. I'm not in the mood. It's the spot.
You always were a difficult patient.
I always were a difficult mother.
Oh, even as a child, you were impossible. Little girl, just impossible. You always refused to take your aspirin unless I bribed you with a cup of cocoa.
Mom, I'm going to tell you a secret.
What?
I always used to drink the cocoa and put the aspirin down the toilet.
I know. I always dissolved another one in the cocoa.
No wonder I could never make cocoa like yours. Oh, Mom. Life sure used to be a lot simpler, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you were always there to take care of me and keep me out of trouble, you know? Make me better when I was sick.
Well, that's what mothers are for.
Yeah, I guess nobody could take care of you like your mother.
Yes. Come on, it's time for you to get some sleep.
Oh.
Move over. That's a good girl. Now put your head on my shoulder.
Why am I
Well, I'm
doing
going to sing you to sleep.
No, Mom, I'm too old for that.
If I'm not too old to sing, you're not too old to listen.
This is silly.
Oh, shh.
Oh. Well, I'm not even sleepy.
I know. Lullaby with roses begun, with lilies o'erspread.
Yeah. If this bed could talk, I'd lose half my brownie points.
Don't wake her up. I'll put her to bed later. Help me put the footstool in the middle of the sofa so she'll be more comfortable.
I'll go get it now.
I'll just put her down here very carefully. Get her
So
nice and
it's in
comfortable.
position, so do whatever you want to do.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll pull this part apart, and you catch her so she doesn't fall down.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Wait a sec.
I didn't think we were going to do it.
Neither did I.
Neither did I. Good night.
Oh, no! Damn! Damn! My alarm clock didn't go off and I missed my meeting! Damn!
Now take it easy. Take it easy. Now sit down and eat your breakfast. Everything is okay. There's nothing wrong with your alarm clock.
What are you talking about?
Well, it didn't go off because I turned it off.
You turned it off?
You needed your rest.
You turned it off?
Don't shout, dear. You'll get upset.
Oh, dare you turn off my alarm clock?
Darling, your pancakes are getting cold. Eat first, and then we'll talk.
We are going to talk right now, right now.
Settle down, settle down. Now, if you're upset, it's bad for the digestion.
You don't seem to understand.
But I do understand, dear. You're sick and you're irritable.
I am not irritable. Okay, so I'm a little irritable, but you made me that way.
Well, I know what it is. You're just upset because you missed that meeting with that milkman this morning.
He's not the milkman. He's president of a national corporation that distributes milk. He's an important man. His time is valuable.
Is he married?
Oh. We're talking grown up here. We're talking responsibilities.
And it's my responsibility to keep you well.
I am well. I've never felt weller.
That's right, dear. Get it off your chest. Yell at me. That's what mothers are for. What are you doing? Annie, what? Annie, listen, you cannot go to work in your condition.
Excuse me, Mother.
At least eat some of your breakfast. You know it's the most important meal of the day. What am I supposed to do with all this food? Now, that is not a very nice way to talk to your mother. I'll get it. Annie, I will get it. I'll get it. I'm coming.
Okay, where the hell have you been, huh? Oh, Mrs. Romano, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
all right. Would you like some breakfast?
No, I just want to yell at your daughter.
Oh, Nick, I am really sorry.
Oh, sweetheart, it's okay. It's okay. I know you've been sick. You're a very responsible person. You wouldn't miss our meeting with Henderson unless you had a perfectly good explanation. So, what's your perfectly good explanation?
Oh, Nick, I overslept, but the whole point
Excuse
is
me. Sleeping is not a perfectly good explanation. Dying is a perfectly good explanation.
Damn it, Nick, why didn't you just call?
Why didn't I? tried calling all morning, but your line was busy.
What are you talking about?
I took the phone off the hook.
You did what?
Well, you see, Nick, Annie was sleeping so peacefully, I didn't want somebody to call and wake her up.
Thank you, Mother.
Well, you're welcome, dear.
I'm gonna kill her. Okay, what happened with Henderson?
Nothing. He just blew up and left.
You lost the account?
Well, not exactly. He said that we still have a fat chance in hell.
I just did what I thought was right.
Well, maybe he'll cool off and we can still talk to him tomorrow.
Look, Nick, I'll be
What?
down there as soon as I can, okay? At least
sure.
this way it'll give me a chance to finish my presentation.
Hello? Darling, can I talk to you for a second? You didn't finish the presentation?
No, that woman sang me to sleep.
I am not that woman. I am your mother. She never talked to me like this before she dyed her hair.
Well, I'm just gonna go and clean the coffee off the wall behind your desk.
Hey, hold it.
Huh?
Henderson threw coffee at my wall?
I threw coffee at your wall.
Good morning, good morning. The birds are a wing. God's in his heaven doing his thing.
Don't make me sick.
What's the matter with him?
Nothing. Everything is just fine. Everything is just perfect.
What's the matter with her?
Oh, who cares?
I think there's a slow leak in my charisma. Yes.
While you're up here, do me a favor. Will you take that bed downstairs?
Oui, mon capitaine.
Hold it. Hold it. The bed stays. Annie, I am not leaving this apartment until you're better.
Schneider, take the bed.
The bed stays.
Take it, Schneider.
Stays.
Ladies, before I go over there and risk a hernia taking that bed down, what's going on?
Just take the bed.
You see? You see, my daughter doesn't want me. She just doesn't love me anymore.
Shame.
I'm just not wanted around here, so I just better go.
Mom, look, what I'm
Oh,
telling...
I suppose I should be grateful. I hear that the Eskimos put their old people on ice floes and just float them off into the sunset.
It's absolutely true. That's how they settle Mongolia. I happen to know several Mongolians would love a blubber lettuce and tomato sandwich.
Okay, I'm off.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Mom. Bye, Grandma.
Goodbye, Barbara. Write occasionally.
I'm just going to work.
Yes, dear. Well, please let me know when you get married, and be sure to send me pictures of your children. But be careful, Barbara. They'll turn on you.
Okay. Mom, what's going on?
We just had a little discussion.
A tiff.
A fight! I'm going to get ready for work.
You see, she doesn't love me anymore, and after all I have done for her.
Oh, Grandma, yes, she does.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't.
You feel kind of warm. I think you're sick.
Well, I'm not surprised. I give your mother love. She gives me the flu.
I don't think it was intentional.
Oh, well, listen, whatever you do, don't tell her about this. I don't want her to have to pretend that she loves me.
Mom, we'll talk later, okay? Right now, I got to go down there and see what I can salvage.
Fine.
Bye, Mom. Yeah, bye.
Annie, don't feel guilty about going off and leaving me behind to die.
What?
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Okay. What is it I am supposed to guess?
I think Grandma has a fever. She must be sick.
I'm dying. But I didn't want her to know. Don't worry about me. You have more important things to do.
Look, Ma, why don't you just go to work? I'll stay home and take care of her.
See, Barbara loves me.
Barbara, you go to work. You've got a job. I can stay here and work on my presentation.
Okay, feel better, Grandma.
Thank you.
Okay, Mom. Come on. Take off your coat and sit down.
No, I'm just going to go find an iceberg and float off with a walrus.
Mom, I want you to stay.
No, I'm just going to get out of your life forever.
Mom, I said you are staying.
I am going.
Sit.
Sit.
I can't have you running around in weather like this. If you caught pneumonia and die, it would give you too much satisfaction. Okay, come on. Open up.
I don't want any.
It's yummy oatmeal.
I don't like it.
Julie and Barbara love it.
They're used to your lousy cooking.
Open up the hangar and let the plane fly in.
Are you calling my mouth a hanger?
Open up the hangar or I'll break your face.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Look, no.
Honey, if you don't want to eat, I'm not going to force it down your throat.
That's right. Starve me.
Mom, you are a miserable patient.
This is a miserable place to be sick. Look at the sofa. It was made for runts.
Do you have any other complaints?
None.
Good.
I won't even mention how hot it is.
And I appreciate
But
that.
it is so hot.
Mom, I'm sorry for making you so miserable.
Well, that's what daughters are for.
I don't know what to do to make you comfortable. How about if I sing to you?
Oh, how about if you don't?
Lullaby and good night.
Oh, shut up.
Mom, I don't know what to do with you.
Well, it's not as easy as it looks, is it?
What?
Playing nursemaid.
You always made it seem easy with me.
Well, maybe that's because I was your mother.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I was helpful, wasn't I?
Oh, you certainly were, Mom. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Yeah, well, that's not what you said this morning.
Well, Mom, we were both real upset this morning. We said things in the heat of anger. I don't even remember what they were.
You said you had it with me butting in where I'm not wanted. And you said I was making life impossible. And you said for me to butt out.
I never said any of those things.
Well, you thought them.
Probably.
That's the doorbell.
Yes, I heard it.
Gonna answer.
Yes. Just a minute. Mom, I guess no one can take care of us like our mothers.
Well, for once, you're right.
Well, I'm real glad you said that.
Oh, Grandma! Mother!
I'm so glad you called.
Mother!
Katie, how many times have I told you? If you have a cold, you keep warm and sweat. Ooh, what's this slop?
That's oatmeal.
Oh, no wonder she's sick. Well, I'll make you some nice milk toast. But what you really need is a mustard plaster and an enema.
Oh, Mother.
I'll have you well in no time.
Bye.
There must be a clean pan here somewhere.
The word technicality enters the room the way certain words do when a group of people is trying to keep the full weight of an action from settling on any one pair of shoulders. It is offered almost lightly as if the lightness itself might reduce the mass of what is being proposed. Marry a citizen. It would not be a real marriage, it would buy time. It is a legal loophole, a technicality, and as soon as the immigrant status has changed, the whole arrangement can be dissolved. I have listened to that sentence in variations for more than 40 years, and every time I hear it I feel the same small internal flinch. The flinch is not moral superiority, it is recognition. I have been in rooms where similar solvents were poured over irreversible choices, and I have watched the liquid do its temporary work of making the choice look smaller than it was. Barbara does not invent the idea. It arrives second-hand, attributed to her mother's business partner, which already softens its edges. The origin story matters. If the suggestion had come from inside the activist circle itself, it might have carried a different charge, more ideological, more collective. Because it comes from the world of small business and cash flow anxiety, it enters as practical improvisation rather than pure principle. The series is precise about this. Idealism in this apartment is never pure. It is always mixed with the ordinary need to keep the lights on and the refrigerator from going completely empty. The technicality is born in that mixture, and Barbara receives it the way she has received most of the larger possibilities in her life so far, as something already partially formed by other people's language. The call for volunteers produces the expected choreography. One person steps forward with pride and is immediately waved back. Another suggests drawing straws, the classic mechanism for distributing risk while preserving the fiction of chance. Several voices say they are willing, each careful to attach the mitigating clause only for a few days, only a technicality. I have watched this choreography in real rooms. The willingness is genuine and also carefully bounded. No one wants to be the person who appears reluctant, yet no one wants to be the person who actually carries the irreversible act out of the room and into the rest of their life. The straws, real or metaphorical, become a way of letting fate take the blame for what is in fact a series of small human decisions. Barbara's agreement does not arrive as a dramatic conversion. It arrives as the moment when the restlessness she named earlier finds an action large enough to match it. She has already told the room in different words that her days have become a closed circuit of cold cereal, the number 81 bus, and the decision among pairs of jeans. The technicality offers a temporary rupture of that circuit. She can marry a man so that he will not be returned to a place where names on lists have lethal consequences. The act will not solve the larger machinery of deportation or foreign policy or oil. It will only insert one body, her body, into the path of that machinery for a limited time. The limitation is what the word technicality is designed to protect. Yet, the body remains. The vows, even if spoken without full intention, will still have to be spoken. The legal record will still exist. The series understands this, without announcing it. It lets Barbara say okay I'm in, and then lets the sentence sit in the air long enough for its full weight to begin settling. I was never asked to marry a stranger for immigration purposes, but I have stood at the edge of choices that carried the same structure and emergency that was not originally mine, a sense that my own life had become too small, and a sudden willingness to use my body or my name or my future as a temporary bridge for someone else's survival. The willingness always felt larger than my ordinary capacities, and that largeness was both the attraction and the danger. Barbara's line about the first thing she ever won being a husband is offered as a joke, yet the joke contains a truth the series does not soften. She has not chosen a partner. She has drawn a short stick in a room full of people who will congratulate her and then go home to their own unbroken circuits. The winning is real and also bitterly ironic. What she has won is the right to stand in front of a judge and say words she does not mean so that another person might remain inside the borders of a country that has already decided he does not belong. The gender of the moment is not incidental. The room contains both men and women, yet the body that will actually perform the technicality is female. The series does not underline this fact with speeches, but it does not hide it either. Marriage, even a false one, still carries the historical weight of female availability as a form of political or economic currency. Barbara is not being sold, she is volunteering, and yet the structure of the volunteerism still travels along the old pathways. A young woman's legal identity becomes the temporary shelter for a man whose own government has marked him for removal. I have never been able to watch this sequence without feeling the double movement, the genuine courage of the offer and the quieter recognition that the culture still finds it easier to imagine a woman inserting herself into a legal fiction than to imagine the machinery of asylum simply working as it claims to work. The mitigating language continues after the decision is made. Only a few days, only a technicality. As soon as the status is changed, the phrases are repeated like a charm against the possibility that the arrangement might outlast its usefulness or that the emotional consequences might refuse to remain technical. I have used similar charms myself. They work for a while. They allow the decision to be made. They do not prevent the later reckoning. Barbara does not yet know about the 5-year criminal penalty. She does not yet know that an annulment under these circumstances will be difficult to obtain. She only knows that the alternative, returning to the number 81 bus and the marked down volleyballs while a man is sent back to a list, has become unbearable. The unbearability is the true engine of the choice. The technicality is only the available vehicle. There is a particular silence that follows the moment of agreement. The script does not write the silence, but I have always heard it. It is the silence in which each person in the room privately measures the distance between the collective enthusiasm and the individual cost. Carolyn and Frank and Robin will be able to speak later of the night they helped keep Eduardo in the country. Barbara will be the one who has to look a man she barely knows in the eye and discuss the absence of that any. The series is already preparing us for the imbalance. The activist circle has done its work of opening the possibility. The possibility now belongs to one young woman and the stranger she has agreed to marry for a principle that is both larger than herself and intimately tangled with her own hunger for significance. I return often to the phrase, "It's just a technicality." The word just is doing as much work as the word technicality. It is an attempt to shrink the act to a manageable size. Yet marriage, even when emptied of romantic intention, still requires the speaking of vows, the signing of documents, the temporary surrender of a certain legal solitude. Barbara is not only offering a loophole, she is offering her name, her presence in front of a judge, her willingness to let the state record a union that she intends to dissolve. The state, as the later scenes will make clear, is not obligated to honor the intention. The technicality is not as technical as the room needs it to be. That gap between the language of the living room and the language of the law is where the true risk lives. The restlessness that began at the window with the telephone poles has now found its irreversible expression. Barbara has moved from describing the closed circuit of her days to inserting herself into a different circuit altogether, one that involves immigration judges, blood tests, and the possibility of criminal penalty. The movement is both expansion and a new form of constraint. She has broken the smallness of the number 81 bus. Yet she has also bound herself to a timeline and a set of legal consequences she does not fully control. The series does not celebrate the binding as pure triumph. It simply records it with the same steady attention it gives to the Weenies and Beans conversation and the late child support check. In that recording there is a kind of respect for the complexity of the motive. Barbara is not a saint. She is a young woman who has looked at the view from her window long enough to decide that the view must change, even if the change requires her to speak words she does not mean in front of a man she does not love. I have stood in the aftermath of similar decisions, my own and other people's, and felt the same mixture of admiration and unease. The admiration is for the refusal to remain inside the small circuit. The unease is for the way the refusal so often requires the body to become a temporary solution to a problem the larger systems refuse to solve. Barbara's short stick is both a victory and a burden. The room congratulates her. The poles outside the window remain exactly where they were. And somewhere in the city, a young man named Eduardo Diaz is about to learn that a group of people in an Indianapolis apartment have decided that one of them will marry him so that he might stay. The technicality has been spoken. The straw has been drawn. The rest of the story will be the long, uneven process of discovering what the technicality actually costs. The doorway is where the technicality first meets the body that will have to carry it. I have always watched this sequence with a particular tightness in the chest, the same tightness I felt as a young woman standing in other doorways trying to say a necessary no and finding that the word had become suddenly heavy. Barbara has come home from the meeting still partially alight with the significance she has claimed. She has drawn the short stick. She has agreed to marry a man so that he will not be returned to a list. The agreement still feels inside her, like the first large action of her adult life. Then she tells her mother and the light changes. Anne's reaction is not measured. It is the full unfiltered panic of a woman who has already survived one heart attack and who hears in her daughter's calm announcement the possible approach of another. You're going to marry that man, why to keep him in the country? The questions tumble over one another. The sarcasm follows immediately. Why don't you play Chinese checkers? At least you're good at that. I have heard versions of that sarcasm from my own mother and from the mothers of friends. In moments when a child's sudden large decision threatened to rearrange the fragile stability of the household, the sarcasm is not cruelty. It is the sound of fear trying to find a language small enough to contain the threat. Chinese checkers is manageable. A marriage entered for political reasons with a man whose government has already marked his family is not. Barbara's defense is the same one she offered the activist circle, only now it is spoken against the person whose approval still matters more than she wants to admit. She does not want to marry anybody. She only wants to take the number 81 bus and mark down volleyballs. The claim is both true and incomplete. She has already moved past that small circuit. The meeting has made the circuit visible as something she can no longer inhabit without shame. Anne hears only the surface of the sentence and answers with the practical mother's question, why didn't you tell that to the other girls? The answer is the one that still lands hardest for me. She tried, but they were too busy singing and cheering for She's a Jolly Good Person. The collective enthusiasm of the living room has already done its work. Barbara has been carried by it past the point where a simple withdrawal is still easy. The argument that follows is one of the purest mother-daughter collisions the series ever stages. You are not going to marry that man. I am too. The exchange repeats, escalating until Anne reaches for the earlier safer conflict. The last time we had this conversation we were talking about Brussels sprouts. The comparison is meant to reduce the present emergency to the scale of a childhood refusal. It fails. Brussels sprouts were never going to place Barbara in front of a judge or expose her to criminal penalty. The series lets the failure stand. Anne's attempt to shrink the crisis only reveals how large it has already become. I have stood on both sides of versions of this doorway. I have been the daughter announcing a decision that felt like the first real exercise of adult will, and I have watched a mother's face rearrange itself around the sudden knowledge that the child is no longer fully protectable. The particular terror in Anne's voice when she mentions the heart attack is not manipulation only. It is the sound of a body that has already learned what prolonged stress can do and that now hears, in her daughter's idealism, the possible return of that stress in a new form. Barbara's response, "Please stop throwing guilt," is the classic counter move of the young person who needs the decision to remain clean. Guilt would contaminate the technicality. The series refuses to let either position remain pure. Anne's fear is real. Barbara's need to do something worthwhile is real. The doorway holds both truths at once without offering a resolution. Then the doorbell rings and Eduardo is there. The timing is almost cruel in its perfection. Barbara has not yet had time to recover from the argument, has not yet found the language with which she might still withdraw. Anne's instruction is clear and practical: be direct, tell him you are sympathetic but you are calling the wedding off. The instruction is the mother's last attempt to reclaim control of the threshold. Barbara's reply is the daughter's claim to a maturity she is not certain she possesses. She is a big girl now, she can handle this all by herself. The private joke she offers, she is just going to look him straight in the eye and say my mommy won't let me, is the sound of someone who already suspects that the direct speech will be harder than she has admitted. The conversation that follows is one of the most delicately painful in the entire composite script. Eduardo is polite, slightly formal, carrying the quiet dignity of a person who has already lost a great deal and who is careful not to ask for more than is offered. Barbara's attempts to introduce the withdrawal keep sliding away from her. She begins sentences and cannot finish them. The absence of that any becomes a shared awkward acknowledgement of what the marriage will not contain. When Eduardo speaks of his parents, the letters returned marked unknown, the quiet architect father forced to speak when the generals took over, the technicality begins to lose its thin protective coating. Barbara is no longer only marrying a legal category. She is sitting across from a man whose family has already been partially erased and who is looking at her with a gratitude that makes withdrawal feel like another form of violence. I have never forgotten the particular quality of Barbara's voice when she finally fails to say the sentence Anne prepared for her. The failure is not weakness only. It is the collision between the abstract decision made in a room full of activists and the concrete presence of the person who will be most affected by it. Eduardo's gratitude, "I can't believe you're doing this for me," lands like a weight. American women are very strong, very courageous. The compliment is sincere and also another subtle pressure. To withdraw now would be to refuse the courage he has just attributed to her. Barbara has spent the evening trying to claim a significance larger than the number 81 bus. Eduardo has just handed her that significance fully formed, and the cost of returning it has become suddenly visible. Anne, listening from the other room or returning too soon, misreads the outcome. She believes the direct speech has occurred. She congratulates herself on the wisdom of being straightforward. The misreading is almost unbearable to watch. It is the mother's need to believe that the crisis has been contained colliding with the daughter's inability to perform the containment. When Barbara later asks Anne to be her maid of honor, the full collapse of the attempted withdrawal is complete. The technicality has survived the doorway. The resolve that Barbara carried into the conversation has not. The phrase "my mommy won't let me" continues to echo for me long after the scene ends. It is the private fear that the large action will be reduced once again to a child's rebellion against maternal authority. Barbara needs the decision to belong to her. She needs it to remain an act of adult will rather than a temporary defiance that can be walked back under pressure. The series lets her keep the decision, but it does not let her keep the illusion that the decision is clean. The doorway has done its work. The technicality has been tested against the actual presence of the man and the actual terror of the mother, and it has held not because it is strong but because Barbara could not find the language to release it in time. I have left other doorways with the same mixture of relief and dread that I imagine Barbara carries back into the apartment. The relief of not having to disappoint the person who has already begun to thank you. The dread of knowing that the harder conversations are still ahead and that the mother who tried to stop you will now have to watch you continue. The series does not soften either feeling. It simply places them in the same frame as the earlier restlessness and the activist circle and the weenies and beans scarcity and lets the frame hold. The telephone poles are still outside the window. The number 81 bus will still run in the morning. And Barbara has now passed through a doorway she cannot fully re-enter. The technicality is no longer only a word spoken in a living room. It has begun to become a life. The blood test has come back clean. And the sentence that follows is almost administrative in its calm, so I guess we're all set. I have always heard that line as the moment when the technicality completes its transformation from living room proposal into legal fact. The machinery of the state has accepted the preliminary evidence. The bodies have been checked. The path to the courthouse is open. What remains is only the speaking of words neither party fully intends. The series places this calm beside Barbara's private terror without comment, and the juxtaposition is more devastating than any speech could be. Schneider's entrance into the scene brings the familiar mixture of comic competence and unexpected tenderness. He greets Eduardo with the Spanish phrases he picked up in the Navy, the slightly showy fluency of a man who has always used language as a way of belonging wherever he finds himself. The coincidence of Santa Rosa, the town where Eduardo was born and where Schneider once met a girl with flashing brown eyes named Isabella, lands with the soft surprise of real life's occasional symmetries. Schneider's Isabella was O'Reilly, Eduardo's mother is Sanchez. The names do not match yet. The shared geography opens a brief corridor of recognition between the building superintendent and the man who is about to marry the daughter of the house for reasons that have nothing to do with love. I have always loved this small exchange. It is the series reminding us that even in the midst of a legal fiction, human beings still reach for the ordinary bridges of place and memory. Barbara's fear has by now become a separate presence in the apartment. "Mom, I gotta get out of this." The sentence is spoken with the raw urgency of someone who has finally measured the distance between the activist living room and the actual vows. Anne's immediate offer to stop Eduardo is the mother's last attempt to reclaim the threshold. Barbara's refusal is the daughter's insistence on ownership. She started it, she has to finish it. The logic is both principled and self-punishing. To allow Anne to intervene would be to return the decision to the status of a child's rebellion that can still be corrected by parental authority. Barbara needs the act to remain hers, even as the act has begun to terrify her. I have made versions of this refusal, myself insisting on carrying a choice to its end not because the choice still felt right but because the alternative of being rescued felt like a deeper defeat. The lawyer's information arrives like a second blood test, this one returning a different kind of result. There will be no easy annulment under these circumstances. Worse, marrying an alien solely to keep him in the country is a crime carrying a possible 5-year sentence. The technicality has never been technical. The living room solvent has evaporated and what remains is the full legal and moral weight of the arrangement. Schneider's holy moly is the sound of a man who has just watched the ground shift under someone he cares for. The race to the courthouse begins with the knowledge that they may already be too late. I have never been able to watch the courthouse sequence without feeling the particular dread that accompanies rituals performed under false premises. The judge who is marrying other couples in the same hallway, the casual "I give it 6 months from a stranger," the flowers that someone thought to bring because it did not seem right without them, all of it accumulates into a portrait of a ceremony that is both completely real and completely hollow. When the judge begins the familiar cadence "by the authority vested in me by the state of Indiana," the technicality reaches its point of maximum tension. Barbara's hesitation on the words "I do" is the body's last attempt to refuse what the will has already set in motion. The series lets the hesitation breathe. It does not rush past it. In that pause lives every earlier restlessness, every telephone pole, every number 81 bus ride, every moment Barbara has spent trying to become larger than the life she was handed. Then Eduardo speaks, and the entire structure collapses in a direction no one in the living room anticipated. He will not go through with it. The reason he offers is not fear of the law or doubt about Barbara's sincerity. It is a moral refusal that repositions the entire meaning of courage. His country is in trouble, people are fighting to save it, and he is here hiding behind a wedding ceremony. He cannot do that. He has to go back. The words are quiet. There is no theatrical swelling of music, no slow-motion exchange of glances. There is only a young man who has decided that the protection being offered would cost him something he is no longer willing to pay. I return to this moment more often than any other in the composite script. Eduardo's dignity is not the dignity of the martyr who seeks suffering. It is the quieter dignity of a person who has measured the difference between survival and self-respect and found that for him the two cannot be separated. The activist circle offered him a technicality. Barbara offered him her name and her future risk. He refuses both, not because they are insufficient, but because accepting them would require him to become someone who lets others fight while he remains inside a legal fiction. The series has spent the preceding scenes building the moral case for the marriage as an act of solidarity. Eduardo dismantles the case with a handful of sentences that reassert the primacy of his own agency. The line about courage is the one that stays with me longest. Don't ever let anybody tell you you don't have courage. You do more than I do. Spoken to Barbara, it is both a gift and a release. He is returning to her the significance she tried to claim while simultaneously refusing to let that significance be purchased at the price of his own integrity. I have watched other people perform versions of this release, handing back a sacrifice that was sincerely offered because the sacrifice, if accepted, would deform the very thing it was meant to save. The difficulty of the gesture is that it leaves the offerer suddenly without the large action that had begun to organize her sense of self. Barbara is left standing in a courthouse hallway with a marriage that will not occur and a courage that has just been both affirmed and rendered unnecessary. The chaotic arrival of Schneider and the others too late is the final comic tragic punctuation. They have raced to prevent a crime and an irreversible mistake only to discover that the mistake has already been refused by the person who stood to benefit from it. The 5-year sentence, the quick divorce, the next couple already waiting in line, all of it becomes suddenly irrelevant. The technicality has been refused at the point of its enactment. What remains is the quieter aftermath. A young woman who must now return to the number 81 bus without the large action she had used to redefine herself, and a young man who has chosen the risk of return over the safety of a fiction. I have stood in the aftermath of other refused protections, and the feeling is always the same mixture of admiration and a strange private bereavement. The admiration is for the person who would not let the terms of their survival be written by someone else's need for significance. The bereavement is for the story that will now never be told, the story in which the technicality worked, the status was changed, the large action succeeded. Eduardo's quiet dignity does not cancel Barbara's restlessness or Anne's terror or the activist circle's genuine desire to help. It simply refuses to let those forces write the ending. In that refusal, there is a kind of clarity the series rarely achieves so cleanly. The almost wedding becomes paradoxically the most honest ritual. The composite script contains a ceremony that stops itself because the words about to be spoken would have been a lie too large to bear. The telephone poles are still outside the window when Barbara returns. The view has not changed, and yet something in the air of the apartment has shifted. A man has walked away from the protection that was offered him, and in walking away he has returned to everyone else the full weight of their own motives. The technicality has dissolved. What remains is the ordinary life that must now be lived without it, and the quieter knowledge that courage sometimes looks like the refusal of a gift that would have cost too much to accept. The snow begins before the plane does. I have always marked the shift in the composite script by that weather. One moment we are still inside the residual shock of the almost wedding, and the next we are listening to Anne on the telephone trying to persuade someone to plow a runway so that Flight 14 to Chicago will not be lost. The snow is not incidental. It is the first external pressure of a new emotional system, the visible equivalent of the invisible weather that has already begun to gather between Anne and Nick. Delays, missed connections, the rising panic that the account will be lost if the meeting is missed, all of it becomes the practical language in which a different kind of risk is being negotiated. I have stood in airport terminals, while snow erased the possibility of departure. And I know the particular quality of anxiety that settles when professional survival is tied to a schedule the weather has already begun to dismantle. Anne's voice on the phone carries that anxiety without ornament. If they miss the flight, they miss the meeting. If they miss the meeting, they lose the account. If they lose the account, they are broke. Broker Nick corrects. And the correction itself is a small assertion of control in a situation that is rapidly escaping both of them. The series places this exchange early before any explicit romantic tension has been named, and in doing so, it establishes the ground rule of their entire arc. Every emotional current between them will first have to travel through the language of business survival. The pink suitcase arrives as both comedy and quiet humiliation. Nick's ex-wife took the luggage, his father took the backpacks. The only available object is Barbara's pink suitcase, an item so visibly gendered and youthful that the idea of Nick carrying it into the Biltmore becomes an immediate source of comic dread. The joke about one of them staying at the Y is offered and rejected in the same breath. They will stay at the Biltmore. They will present themselves as the kind of people who belong there. The pink suitcase will simply have to be endured. I have always loved this detail for the way it exposes the class performance required of small business people on the road. The Biltmore is not a luxury they can comfortably afford, it is a stage set they must occupy long enough to convince Fisher that they are solid. The suitcase is the crack in the stage set, the visible reminder that the performance is being mounted under financial strain. Separate rooms. The insistence is Anne's, and it is spoken with the slightly too firm clarity of someone who has already imagined the alternative and found it dangerous. Schneider's reaction, the raised eyebrow, the knowing "yeah, I'm sure," is the voice of the building's permanent observer, the man who has watched enough temporary arrangements to recognize the pressure that separate rooms both relieve and intensify. I have stayed in separate rooms myself under similar conditions. And I know how the closed door between them becomes its own kind of presence. It is protection, yes. It is also a constant low-grade reminder of the proximity that has been deliberately limited. The series understands this without needing to stage any late-night hallway encounters. The separation itself is the tension. Barbara's diagnosis arrives with the bluntness of youth. Nick is probably suffering from sexual tension. The phrase is spoken in the apartment before the trip in the presence of Schneider, and it lands like a small explosive that no one is quite prepared to handle. Anne's immediate rejection of the idea is too quick, too absolute. She will set him straight. She will tell him that this is purely a business relationship, that nothing physical could ever happen between them. That he will simply have to learn to live with it. The speech is prepared in advance the way one prepares a presentation for a difficult client. I have prepared versions of that speech. They are designed to close a possibility before the possibility can fully open. Their effectiveness is almost always partial. The hotel room conversation is one of the most precisely calibrated sequences of mutual misrecognition the series ever attempted. Anne enters with her prepared clarity and discovers that the clarity itself has become another form of complication. When she names the sexual tension, Nick's first response is laughter, the startled, slightly panicked laughter of a man who has been seen more accurately than he was ready for. His denial is elaborate and increasingly flustered. He has never thought of her that way. He has no sexual designs on her whatsoever. She is his business partner. The more he insists, the less convincing the insistence becomes. Anne, who came to deliver a boundary, finds herself suddenly defending against the implication that she was the one who imagined the tension in the first place. The reversal is almost elegant in its cruelty. Each of them is now protecting a dignity that the other has accidentally threatened. I have had conversations that followed this exact architecture: the careful naming of a dangerous current, the immediate denial, the subsequent confusion about who first felt the current and who is now responsible for its existence. The particular pain of the exchange is that both people are telling a version of the truth, and both are also lying. Nick has almost certainly thought of Anne that way, at least in passing. The intensity of his denial suggests the thought has been present enough to require active suppression. Anne has almost certainly felt the tension herself. Her need to name it, and contain it, is the behavior of someone who has already been disturbed by its presence. The series lets the mutual fiction stand without forcing an immediate confession. In that restraint there is a deep understanding of how midlife attractions often proceed not through dramatic declarations, but through a series of increasingly porous denials. The snow continues outside the hotel windows. I have always imagined it falling with the steady indifferent persistence of Midwestern winter erasing the city street by street while two people inside a carefully paid-for room attempt to erase a different kind of weather. The business meeting still looms, the account still hangs in the balance, and yet the professional emergency has already begun to serve as the cover under which a more intimate emergency is being negotiated. Anne's insistence that she will have the copy ready if it kills her is the language of a woman who has learned to treat her own body as a resource that can be spent in the service of survival. The flu that will later claim her is already latent in that insistence. The series is patient. It knows that the body will eventually collect what the will has refused to acknowledge. What moves me most in these scenes is the particular quality of Anne's loneliness. It is not the loneliness of the newly divorced woman of the early seasons, raw and declarative. It is the quieter, more complicated loneliness of a woman who has built a functional adult life and who now finds that the life itself has begun to feel like another closed circuit. Nick is not a solution to that loneliness. He is at this stage only the person who makes the loneliness visible by standing close enough to it that its edges become clear. The separate rooms are both a protection against that visibility and a constant advertisement of it. Every time one of them closes a door, the closed door speaks. I have lived inside versions of that hotel room weather. I have watched snow erase a city while a conversation inside a rented room attempted to erase a different kind of possibility. The attempt almost never succeeds completely. Something remains an unfinished sentence, a glance held a moment too long, a denial that was slightly too vehement. The series captures that remainder with extraordinary care. It does not rush Anne and Nick into a resolution. It simply places them in the snow, in the separate rooms on the edge of something they have not yet agreed to name, and lets the edge do its slow, precise work. The pink suitcase sits somewhere in the room like a quiet joke that has stopped being entirely funny. The account still has to be saved, the snow still has to stop, and Anne Romano, who has spent years learning how to survive without needing anyone too much, has begun to discover that the survival itself has a cost she is only now starting to calculate. The technicality of the earlier story has been refused. What remains is the slower, less dramatic technicality of two people trying to remain only business partners, while the weather outside and the weather between them continues to change. The breakfast table is where the fiction finally begins to crack. I have returned to this sequence more times than I can cleanly count, each time finding a slightly different fracture line in the careful structure Anne and Nick have built around themselves. The night before, they performed the ritual of mutual denial with almost professional competence. Anne named the tension in order to contain it. Nick denied its existence with a vehemence that only made its presence more audible. They separated into their respective rooms carrying the same unfinished sentence. Mourning does not erase the sentence. It only places it between the coffee cups and the eggs and the layout pages that still have to be finished before the meeting with Fisher. I know the particular quality of light that fills a hotel dining room on a winter morning in a city that is not your own. It is brighter than it has any right to be, and it exposes everything: the slight puffiness around the eyes that comes from imperfect sleep, the careful neutrality of faces that have already begun rehearsing the day's professional performance, the small physical distances people maintain when the larger distance has become difficult to measure. Anne and Nick sit inside that light and attempt to return to business. The attempt is visible in every clipped sentence, every glance that lands on the papers rather than on the other person. The series does not need to underline the strain is the air they are breathing. What makes the scene so enduring for me is the way both of them are telling the truth and lying at the same time. Nick's insistence that he has never thought of Anne that way is the lie required to preserve a working partnership that has already become something more complicated. Anne's insistence that she feels no corresponding pull is the lie required to preserve the version of herself that does not need, does not want, does not risk. Yet underneath both lies sits a quieter truth. Each of them has felt the current, and each of them is frightened of what the current might require if it is allowed to run. The mutual fiction is not a simple falsehood. It is a jointly constructed shelter against a possibility neither is ready to inhabit. I have lived inside versions of that shelter. I have sat across tables from people I was not supposed to want and performed the same careful choreography of professional focus and deliberate non-acknowledgement. The performance is exhausting. It requires constant micro-adjustments of tone of eye contact of the way a hand reaches for a piece of paper so that the reaching cannot be read as reaching for anything else. After a while, the performance becomes its own form of intimacy. You become expert in the other person's habits of avoidance. You learn the precise angle at which they hold their shoulders when the conversation threatens to drift. You notice the lip twitch. The lip twitch is the detail that undoes them. It is small, almost nothing, a momentary betrayal of the face that has been working so hard to remain only professional. Anne notices it, or perhaps she feels it first in herself and only then sees its mirror in him. The script records the moment with characteristic restraint, a brief exchange, a sudden shift in the air, the recognition that the body has spoken where the mouth has refused. I have always experienced that twitch as the point at which the mutual fiction becomes unsustainable. Once the body has confessed, the verbal denials begin to sound like what they are, delaying tactics rather than genuine disclaimers. The conversation that follows is a master class in the slow collapse of a shared pretense. They circle the same territory they covered the night before, only now the circling is tighter, the denials thinner. Nick's attempt to reassert the boundary "you're my business partner" carries less conviction than it did in the darker hours. Anne's attempt to treat the entire subject as a misunderstanding that can still be corrected begins to fray. The series allows them to remain inside the fiction for several more exchanges, and in that allowance there is a deep compassion for how difficult it is to abandon a story that has protected you. The fiction has allowed them to travel together, to work together, to argue with the particular intensity that only becomes available when something more than business is at stake. Giving it up means giving up the intensity as well, or else admitting that the intensity has another name. I think often of the gender of this particular tension. Anne is a woman who has spent years learning how to survive without requiring male validation or male rescue. Nick is a man who has already failed at one marriage, and who carries the residual caution of that failure. The attraction that has grown between them threatens both of their hard-won positions. For Anne, it threatens the carefully maintained independence that has become central to her identity since the divorce. For Nick, it threatens the professional competence he uses to keep emotional risk at a manageable distance. The mutual fiction has been a way of protecting those positions. The lip twitch is the first sign that the protection is failing. The breakfast table also contains the ghost of Brenda even before she fully enters the narrative. The previous night's denials have left a residue of unresolved energy, and unresolved energy has a way of seeking alternate outlets. When Brenda later appears as the woman with whom Nick has a history, she will function partly as a deflection, an external explanation for the charge that Anne and Nick have been generating between themselves. But at the breakfast table she is still only a possibility, a name that has not yet been spoken. The tension remains primary, undiluted by triangulation. That purity is part of what makes the scene so potent. There is no third party yet to absorb the surplus feeling. There are only two people at table and a fiction that is beginning to leak. I have watched other couples, professional partners, friends, people who had agreed to remain in carefully defined categories, reach this same breakfast table moment. The light is always too bright. The food is always slightly irrelevant. The conversation always begins with an attempt to return to the agenda and always ends somewhere the agenda did not include. The series captures the texture of that drift with extraordinary precision. It understands that the real negotiation is not about whether the tension exists. The tension's existence has already been established by the energy required to deny it. The real negotiation is about what the tension will be allowed to become and who will have to change in order for that becoming to occur. Anne's particular vulnerability in this scene moves me more than almost any other moment in her long arc. She has spent the preceding years constructing a self that can function, provide, decide, and endure without collapsing into need. The sexual tension with Nick threatens that construction, not because desire itself is dangerous but because desire reveals the places where the construction is incomplete. To admit the tension is to admit that the independent life still contains unfilled spaces. The mutual fiction has been a way of keeping those spaces from becoming visible even to herself. The lip twitch makes them visible. There is no unseeing what the body has already said. Nick's vulnerability is of a different order. His denials are louder, more theatrical, and therefore more fragile. He reaches for the language of pure professionalism, the way a drowning person reaches for a floating object desperately and with diminishing effectiveness. The series allows us to see the fear underneath the performance, the fear of repeating earlier failures, the fear of wanting something that might not be returned in the same measure, the fear of complicating a partnership that has become one of the stable structures in an otherwise unstable professional life. His eventual partial admission that maybe he did feel something is not a dramatic confession. It is the small reluctant surrender of a man who has run out of credible denials. The breakfast table does not resolve the tension. It only changes its status from mutually denied to mutually acknowledged. That change is enormous. Once a current has been named by both parties, it can no longer return to the status of private hallucination. It becomes a shared fact that will now have to be lived with, managed, or acted upon. The series is wise enough not to force an immediate decision. The meeting with Fisher still waits. The account still hangs in the balance. The snow may still be falling outside. Life continues to supply its practical emergencies, and those emergencies will temporarily reassert their claim on both people's attention. But the fiction has been damaged beyond easy repair. Something true has been allowed into the room, and the room will not be the same. I carry this scene with me as a private reference point for all the subsequent moments in my own life when a carefully maintained story between two people finally became impossible to continue. The details differ. The bright morning light, the irrelevant food, the lip twitch or its equivalent, these remain remarkably constant. The series understood something essential about how desire operates inside structures that were not designed to contain it. It does not arrive as a clean, dramatic force that sweeps everything else aside. It arrives as a series of small failures of performance, a glance held too long, a denial that costs more energy than it should, a twitch that the face cannot quite suppress. By the time the fiction collapses, both people have already been living inside the truth for longer than they are ready to admit. Anne and Nick leave the breakfast table carrying that longer truth with them. The professional agenda will reassert itself. The layout will still need work. The meeting will still have to be faced. Yet something irreversible has occurred in the bright light of a Chicago morning. The mutual fiction has been spoken aloud and found insufficient. What replaces it has not yet been decided. The series with its characteristic patience allows the undecidedness to stand. In that standing there is a kind of respect for how slowly and how reluctantly people consent to let a protecting story die. The telephone poles of Barbara's earlier restlessness are far from this hotel dining room, yet the underlying weather is not so different. Both mother and daughter have reached a point where the closed circuit of their current arrangements has become visible as a limitation. Barbara tried to break her circuit with a technicality and a stranger. Anne is breaking hers more slowly and with greater resistance. Through the simple and terrifying act of allowing herself to want someone who is already standing close enough to see her. The lip twitch is the first visible sign of that allowance. Everything that follows will be the long, uneven process of deciding what the allowance will cost and whether the cost can be borne. Brenda enters the story the way certain people do when a carefully managed tension has already begun to leak, as an external explanation that is also an internal provocation. I have never been able to watch the morning after sequence without feeling the particular sting of a name that arrives before the person does. Nick speaks of her with the slightly defensive casualness of a man who knows the history will land badly and who nevertheless cannot stop himself from offering it. They went to the Chicago Art Institute together. They worked at the same agency. She practically saved his life when he was getting divorced. There was a night of mixed-up pajamas, bottoms on her, tops on him. Each detail is offered as clarification. Each detail functions as a small blade. Anne's response is the classic performance of a woman who has decided in advance that she will not care. She does not care about Brenda. Whatever Nick does in his Neanderthal hours is entirely his business. She wants only to discuss the work. The insistence on work is the protective surface. Underneath it, the jealousy has already begun its quiet, methodical occupation of the available emotional space. I know that occupation intimately. I have performed the same refusal to care while every nerve ending tracked the precise emotional temperature of the person across the table. The refusal never fools the body. It only fools the part of the mind that still needs to believe it is in control. The waiter's confusion serving breakfast across the hall, mistaking them for a couple commenting on the cute wife, is the external world briefly aligning with the internal weather Anne is trying to suppress. The series deploys the misunderstanding with perfect comic timing, yet the comedy does not cancel the deeper discomfort. For a moment, the hotel itself seems to have decided that Anne and Nick belong to the category of people who share rooms and mornings and the small intimacies of eggs and coffee. Anne's sharp correction of the category only makes the category more visible. The pink suitcase somewhere in the room or in the hallway remains the quiet emblem of everything that does not fit the Biltmore's idea of who should be staying there. When the professional criticism begins, it is already no longer only professional. Anne looks at Nick's layout and finds it terrible. She has not even examined it properly, yet the verdict is immediate and absolute. The work is not up to par. He must have spent the previous day cavorting in half his pajamas instead of working. The accusation is framed as concern for the account for Fisher for their shared survival. It is also the first open expression of the injury Brenda's shadow has inflicted. Nick's defense that Brenda loved the layout only deepens the wound. The name is spoken again, this time as an authority on the quality of his work, and Anne's jealousy finds its sharpest language. Yet why don't you and Brenda take the meeting with Fisher? The suggestion is meant to wound. It succeeds. I have used work as the battlefield for feelings I could not yet name, and I have been on the receiving end of the same displacement. The particular cruelty of the maneuver is that it is partially sincere. The work does matter. The account does hang in the balance. The fear of professional failure is real. Yet the intensity of the critique exceeds what the layout itself can justify, and both people know it. The excess is the jealousy speaking in the only dialect that still feels permissible. To say I am hurt that you have a history with another woman and that the history is still alive enough to produce mixed-up pajamas would require a vulnerability neither is ready to risk. To say this work is not good enough allows the injury to be expressed while preserving the fiction that the conversation remains professional. The lip twitch of the previous morning has now become something more consequential. In the middle of the argument, amid the accusations and the defenses, something physical occurs: a kiss, or the beginning of a kiss, or the mutual recognition that a kiss has become inevitable. The script records the moment with the same restraint it has used throughout: a sudden shift, a startled acknowledgement, the collapse of the remaining distance. Charity, Nick says, or something like it, attempting even now to frame the contact as something smaller than it is. Anne feels him respond. The mutual fiction that has protected them through the snow and the separate rooms and the breakfast denials finally gives way under the combined pressure of jealousy and proximity, and the simple fact that the body has grown tired of the performance. What follows is the dizzying recalibration that always accompanies the first acknowledgement of a mutual wanting. They are terrible at it. They are wonderful at it. The same people who could not admit the tension now cannot stop speaking the new truth in overlapping half-finished sentences. I thought you never thought of me that way. Maybe I wasn't thinking. This is awful. This is terrific. The language is inadequate to the experience, as language often is when a protecting story has just died. The series allows the inadequacy to stand. It does not supply them with eloquent declarations. It gives them the stunned, slightly comic discovery that the thing they have been circling has been circling them in return. Brenda's shadow does not disappear with the kiss. If anything, the kiss intensifies her presence. She has become the measuring stick against which Anne's sudden unwilling investment is forced to assess itself. The tall, willowy woman who shared art school history and pajama bottoms and the worst nights of Nick's divorce now occupies the same emotional landscape as the kiss. Anne will later tell Barbara and Schneider that it took Brenda to make her realize how she felt about Nick. The admission is both true and incomplete. Brenda did not create the feeling. She only made its suppression impossible by providing an external rival against which the internal current could finally be felt as loss. The pink suitcase returns later like a punchline that has grown sadder with repetition. Nick brings it back. He has waited as long as he could. The object that once represented the class discomfort of the Biltmore and the gendered awkwardness of a grown man carrying a young woman's luggage now carries the additional weight of everything that happened inside the rooms the suitcase briefly occupied. I have always seen the suitcase as the trip's most honest narrator. It has no investment in the mutual fiction. It simply traveled with them pink and conspicuous through the snow and the separate rooms and the morning when the fiction collapsed. When it is returned, the return feels like the closing of a circuit that can never be fully closed. Anne's homecoming is its own study in the afterlife of a jealousy that was never properly named. The champagne mix-up room service instructed to send a bottle to a room she no longer occupied becomes the comic evidence of a night that exceeded its official itinerary. Barbara and Schneider receive the edited version of events, the lost account, the kiss, the presence of Brenda. Their reactions form a kind of vernacular chorus. Schneider is unsurprised. Barbara is fascinated and slightly appalled by the spectacle of her mother in the grip of something that looks from the outside like the very midlife foolishness Anne has spent years warning against. Anne herself moves through the aftermath in a state of shocked clarity. She has crossed a line she did not intend to cross, and the crossing has revealed a hunger she had successfully ignored for a long time. What stays with me most is the particular quality of the jealousy itself. It is not the clean declarative jealousy of younger stories. It is the layered self-accusing jealousy of a woman who has prided herself on not needing, not wanting, not competing for male attention. To feel it is already a small defeat. To act from it, to criticize the work, to invoke Brenda as a rival, to allow the kiss as a larger one. And yet the defeat is also a form of return. Anne has spent years inhabiting a version of herself that could survive without the complicating presence of desire. The pink suitcase, the snow, the separate rooms, the breakfast denials, and finally Brenda's shadow have collectively made that version impossible to maintain. The jealousy is the feeling that accompanies the impossibility. It is the body's way of announcing that the closed circuit has been broken even if the mind has not yet consented to the break. I have carried my own versions of Brenda's shadow names that arrived at the wrong moment and made visible a wanting I had been carefully not examining. The names are never the true source of the disturbance. They are only the catalysts that force the disturbance into the open. Anne's jealousy is not really about Brenda's pajamas or Brenda's opinion of the layout. It is about the sudden unwelcome knowledge that Nick has a capacity for intimacy that has not been directed at her. And that the absence of that direction now hurts. The hurt is the beginning of something she will not be able to walk back. The series knows this. It lets the hurt stand without rushing to convert it into a tidy romantic resolution. The account is still lost. The professional partnership is now permanently altered. The pink suitcase has been returned, and Anne Romano, who has built a life on the careful management of need, has discovered that management has its limits. The telephone poles of the earlier story remain far from this Chicago morning, yet the underlying movement is continuous. Barbara tried to break her smallness with a technicality and was refused by the very person she tried to save. Anne is breaking hers through the slower, messier mechanism of jealousy and a kiss that neither planned. Both women are learning the same difficult lesson. The closed circuit does not open cleanly. It opens through rupture. Through the failure of the stories we tell to keep ourselves safe, through the sudden appearance of a name or a lip twitch or a pink suitcase that makes the old arrangements look suddenly painfully insufficient. Brenda's shadow is only the most recent of those rupturing agents. It will not be the last. Schneider's loneliness has always been the quiet engine under the comic machinery, and nowhere does it surface more clearly than in the long aching arc with Selma and Beerbelly. I have watched this sequence for decades with the particular tenderness reserved for characters who perform competence so consistently that the performance itself becomes a form of isolation. Schneider can fix the pipes, translate a little Spanish produce, a bowling trophy from 1954, and keep the building running. What he cannot seem to do is inhabit a desire that does not immediately threaten the only durable friendship he has ever fully trusted. The rendezvous room is where that impossibility is finally given: a table, 2 menus, and a waiter who understands more than he should. The trophy itself is a perfect emblem. It arrives with the residual comedy of a prize that was clearly obtained at a discount first place. Sister Mary Frances still faintly visible beneath whatever tape they used, and yet Schneider receives it with the full ceremonial gravity of a man who has waited a long time to be publicly valued. His acceptance speech is a masterpiece of comic inflation and genuine feeling thanks to the parents, the U.S. hockey team, the Navy. A certain Miss Tina Carroll who taught him how to relax under pressure. The speech is funny because it is excessive. It is moving because the excess reveals how rarely the man at its center has been the object of uncomplicated celebration. Beer Belly and the others laugh and clap and plan to install the trophy in a place of honor. For a moment, Schneider is held inside a circle of male affection that requires nothing staying from him except presence. The moment does not last, it never does. Selma's interest announces itself in the small accumulating details that Barbara notices before Schneider is willing to name them. The dancing at the disco after the trophy celebration, the kiss that lasts a beat too long, the eyes closed, lips quivering, nostrils flaring that Barbara correctly identifies as more than friendly. Schneider's defense is the classic defense of the man who needs the situation to remain legible as innocence. They are all close like the Three Musketeers. Beer Belly does not mind. The defense is both true and insufficient. Beer Belly may not mind the dancing. He has not been asked to mind the deeper current that Selma is no longer bothering to hide. The lunch at the rendezvous room is staged with the precision of a seduction that has finally stopped pretending to be something else. The restaurant's name alone does half the work. Intimate, secluded, the kind of place where the air conditioning is excellent and the booths are designed for conversations that should not be overheard. Schneider arrives first, orders a double bourbon on the rocks at the waiter's gentle insistence, and attempts to hold the meeting inside the official fiction. They are here to plan a surprise party for Beer Belly, whose birthday is still 6 months away. The fiction lasts less than a full menu reading. Selma arrives looking like a woman who has already decided that the planning meetings will be about something other than balloons and streamers. She is direct in the way people become direct when the cost of continued indirection has grown higher than the risk of speech. She is crazy about him. She knows he is nuts about her. The language is almost adolescent in its simplicity, and that simplicity is part of what makes it devastating. Schneider's resistance is the most complicated emotional work the character is ever asked to perform on screen. He cannot claim he finds her unattractive. He cannot claim the thought has never occurred. What he can claim, what he does claim with increasing desperation, is that Beer Belly is his best friend, the only friend of that magnitude he has ever had. The claim is not strategy. It is the genuine center of his moral universe. To act on the desire Selma is offering would require him to become the kind of man who betrays the one relationship that has never asked him to perform. The series has always understood that Schneider's deepest hunger is not for romance but for durable belonging. Beer Belly represents the closest approximation of that belonging he has managed to sustain. Selma is asking him to set fire to it. Then comes the fantasy, and the fantasy is where the sequence becomes something larger than comic temptation. Schneider begins to describe the mental image that has apparently visited him at night: a deserted beach, an army surplus blanket that is woolen and therefore itchy, stars, seagulls, the two of them scratching and ducking. The details are so specific, so tactile, so ordinary in their discomfort that they carry the unmistakable texture of a real and repeated private narrative. This is not a polished erotic daydream. It is the kind of fantasy a lonely man constructs out of the materials he actually has: memory of a childhood beach in New Jersey, the particular scratch of military wool, the need to include the seagulls because the mind, even in longing, refuses to edit out the inconvenient. I have never watched this monologue without feeling a sharp private recognition. The most revealing fantasies are rarely the ones that look like cinema. They are the ones that include the itch and the bird droppings and the sudden defensive pivot to Willie Mays at the Polo Grounds because the emotional exposure has become unbearable. The pivot itself is pure Schneider. Just as the fantasy approaches the point of no return, he yanks it toward the safety of baseball, toward the old ballpark, toward a public memory that can be shared without risk. The move is comic. It is also the sound of a man slamming a door inside his own mind. Selma has offered him a version of himself in which he is desired without having to earn it through competence or humor or reliable presence. The offer is so unfamiliar that it registers as danger. He refuses it not only because of beer belly but because accepting it would require him to inhabit a vulnerability he has spent a lifetime organizing himself against. When Selma later appears at his door having left beer belly with a note stuck to a six-pack, the danger becomes concrete. The fantasy has stepped out of the private night and into the hallway of the building Schneider maintains. Her presence is both the fulfillment of the longing and the exact shape of the catastrophe he feared. She has burned her old life on the assumption that the longing was mutual and actionable. Schneider's horror is not the horror of a man who never wanted her. It is the horror of a man who wanted her and who is now being asked to claim the wanting in daylight in front of the wreckage it has already produced. Anne's intervention, the conversation about Phil Donahue and magazines and the grass looking greener is the series at its most culturally acute. Selma's restlessness is placed inside a larger weather system of midlife female discontent that television and paperbacks have been actively feeding. The analysis is not unsympathetic, it is simply clear-eyed about the way personal hunger can borrow the language of liberation without necessarily achieving it. Schneider is not a solution to Selma's 20-year marriage. He is the available contrast, the man who still has a snap in his stride because he has never been fully domesticated by the daily attrition beer belly has undergone. The forbidden fruit metaphors Schneider himself reaches for papaya mango piñata are comic and precise. The piñata, especially something brightly colored that you are not supposed to break open and that once broken, spills its contents in a way that can never be reversed. I return to the army surplus blanket more than any other detail. The itch is the truth-telling element. Desire in Schneider's private imagination is not sleek. It is slightly uncomfortable, slightly ridiculous, accompanied by the need to keep brushing sand and feathers away. That texture feels more honest to me than most of the polished romantic narratives television has ever offered. Loneliness does not always dream of perfection. Sometimes it dreams of a shared discomfort that is still, somehow better than the clean solitary comfort of the apartment downstairs. The sequence does not resolve into either consummation or clean renunciation. It leaves Schneider inside the moral pressure of a friendship he will not betray and a desire he can no longer pretend is absent. Beer belly will eventually arrive with his own wreckage. Selma will have to face the gap between the fantasy of Schneider and the reality of a man who cannot choose her without destroying the one belonging he trusts. And Schneider will continue to fix the pipes and produce the comic business and carry somewhere under the performance the knowledge of the itchy blanket and the seagulls and the moment he almost allowed himself to want something that did not first require him to be useful. The pink suitcase of Anne's Chicago trip and the telephone poles of Barbara's restlessness belong to different story systems, yet they share weather with Schneider's beach. All three are about the closed circuits people build to survive and the costly incomplete ways those circuits occasionally open. Schneider's opening is the most explicitly comic and in some ways the most painful. He is offered the fruit, he names it, he refuses it. The refusal does not return him to the previous state of innocence. It only leaves him standing in the hallway with the full knowledge of what he has declined and the quieter knowledge that the declining has not made the wanting disappear. 3 a.m. is the hour when the building's true weather becomes audible. The steam pipes knock and hiss with the particular insistence of old infrastructure that has never been properly at rest. I have always heard those pipes as the building's own form of insomnia, the mechanical equivalent of the human restlessness that the series keeps returning to. When the complaint about the steam arrives Barbara and Anne at the door, the noise driving them crazy, it is both genuine and convenient. Schneider needs an errand that will take him out of the apartment where Selma is waiting. The pipes provide it. The series has always understood that domestic emergencies can serve as moral postponements. Beer Belly's arrival collapses the postponement. He comes up from Schneider's place with the stunned, slightly dangerous energy of a man who has just discovered that the life he thought was solid has been hollowed out while he was busy watching the game. Selma has left. The note was stuck to a six-pack. The detail is pure Beer Belly, even the exit is staged around the central object of his evenings, and it is also heartbreaking in its precision. A woman who has decided to leave a 20-year marriage still has to work with the materials at hand. The six-pack was available. The note went there. Schneider's first responses are the responses of a man who has been dreading exactly this confrontation without allowing himself to rehearse it. He offers coffee. He suggests an all-night diner. He attempts the classic deflection of the guilty. Sometimes it is easier to talk about personal things with an impersonal person. The deflection fails as it must. Beer Belly is not looking for a neutral party. He is looking for the friend who has always been present, and the friend is currently carrying the precise knowledge that would explain the absence of the wife. The matchbook from the rendezvous room surfaces like a piece of evidence in a trial neither man is prepared to conduct. Schneider's weak joke about being caught smoking is the sound of a man watching the last exit close. What follows is one of the most delicately balanced moral sequences the series ever attempted. Schneider must walk Beer Belly through the wreckage without revealing the full shape of his own participation in it. He must offer comfort without confession. He must remain the loyal friend while the loyalty itself has already been compromised by the lunch, the fantasy, the hours in which he allowed Selma's hunger to occupy the same space as his own. The pressure of that double requirement produces some of Pat Harrington's finest work. The usual comic fluency is still present, but it is strained, slowed, forced to carry a weight it was not designed for. The decision to bring Beer Belly back to the apartment is the decision to stop postponing. Schneider knows Selma is there. He also knows that the truth, if it is going to be survived, will have to be faced in the same room where the fantasy briefly threatened to become real. The hallway becomes a threshold in the same way Barbara's doorway became a threshold in the earlier story. Crossing it will change the terms of the friendship. Not crossing it will leave the friendship intact only by making it false. Schneider chooses the crossing. The speech he delivers to Beer Belly is on its surface an intervention about self-neglect and taken for granted love. You used to have a snap in your stride. You used to dress with care. You stopped looking after yourself, and worse, you stopped looking after her. When we go out, I am the one who ends up dancing with Selma because you are too busy with the beer. The analysis is accurate as far as it goes. Beer Belly has allowed himself to become a man who comes home to the game and the six-pack and the assumption that the marriage will continue to exist without active maintenance. Schneider names that failure with the clarity of someone who has been watching it for years. Yet the speech is also a deflection of a more personal guilt. By locating the entire cause of Selma's departure in Beer Belly's deficiencies, Schneider protects himself from having to name the lunch, the beach fantasy, the hours in which he was the available contrast to the neglected husband. The protection is not complete. The intensity with which he speaks carries the surplus energy of the unsaid. I have delivered versions of this speech myself, accurate, necessary, and also carefully designed to keep my own participation in the wreckage out of the frame. The series understands the double movement without condemning it. Schneider is trying to save the friendship and his own self-regard at the same time. The attempt is human. It is also incomplete. Beer Belly's response is the collapse of a certain kind of male armor. He does not swing. He does not demand the name of the creep. He absorbs the diagnosis and finds it true. He had the greatest woman in the world and he blew it. The admission is raw in a way the series rarely allows its men to be. The bowling alley bravado, the trophy, the stories about the 7-pin and the Richter scale body English, all of it falls away, leaving a man who has suddenly seen the cost of his own inattention. When Selma appears and the reconciliation begins, the emotional logic is both satisfying and troubling. The marriage is restored through the husband's recognition of his failure and the wife's willingness to return. Schneider's near betrayal remains unspoken, a private knowledge he will now have to carry inside the repaired friendship. The weight of loyalty in this sequence is heavier than the comic tone of the surrounding scenes might suggest. Schneider has spent the entire arc defining himself by his refusal to become the man who takes his best friend's wife. The refusal is genuine. It is also the source of his particular loneliness. The same loyalty that prevents him from acting on the desire is the loyalty that keeps him inside a life where the desire has nowhere to go. Beer Belly gets to keep the marriage, however imperfectly recovered. Schneider gets to keep the moral high ground in the solitary apartment downstairs. The series does not pretend these are equal outcomes. It simply records the choice and the cost. I have always felt that the broken steam pipe is doing more symbolic work than it first appears. The building's infrastructure is failing in small, persistent ways. Schneider's job is to manage those failures to keep the heat moving to prevent the complaints from becoming crises. The same skills he uses on the pipes he has tried to use on the emotional system of his friendship with Beer Belly, patching, adjusting, preventing the pressure from building to the point of rupture. Selma's departure is the rupture he could not patch. His speech to Beer Belly is the emergency repair. The repair holds for now. The underlying pressure, the knowledge of the rendezvous room and the itchy blanket remains inside the system. The 3 in the morning setting matters. At that hour, the usual social lubricants are unavailable. There is no audience for the comic performance, no easy exit into the next errand. There is only the friend in pain, the wife who has left and then returned, and the man who must decide how much of the truth the friendship can bear. Schneider decides it can bear the diagnosis of Beerbelly's failures. He decides it cannot bear the confession of his own temptation. The decision is protective of everyone involved, including himself. It is also the decision that leaves him once again on the outside of the domestic warmth he has just helped restore. Barbara's earlier observation that she has learned never to go bowling with another man's wife lands as comic punctuation, yet it contains the episode's hardest truth. The overlapping intimacies of this circle of friends have always carried the potential for exactly this kind of damage. Schneider has spent years managing that potential through humor, through useful presence, through the careful performance of a man who wants nothing he cannot safely have. The Selma arc is the moment when the management fails far enough to become visible. The failure is not absolute. The friendship survives. The marriage resumes. But the survival and the resumption now contain the private knowledge of how close the entire structure came to collapsing and of the part Schneider played in the near collapse. I carry this sequence with me as a private reference for the particular loneliness of the loyal friend, the one who is trusted with the marriage's complaints, who dances with the wife because the husband is occupied, who sees the deficiencies clearly enough to name them and who must never become the solution to those deficiencies. Schneider inhabits that role with a mixture of comic grace and real deprivation. The army surplus blanket remains folded in the private mind. The pipes continue to knock at 3 in the morning. And the building, like the friendship, continues to function through a series of repairs that address the symptoms while leaving the deeper weather untouched. The flu arrives as the body's final editorial comment on a season of unmanaged strain. I have always watched Anne's collapse with the particular recognition of someone who has also tried to outrun a fever by sheer scheduling. The Henderson Dairy meeting is tomorrow morning at 9. The copy is not finished. Nick is already performing the familiar dance of professional urgency mixed with personal concern, standing in the living room and measuring her flushed face against the remaining hours. Anne's insistence that she will be there, that she will have the pages if it kills her, is the purest expression of the will that has kept her household and her business functioning since the divorce. The series lets the irony of the phrasing stand without underlining. The body has already begun collecting the debt the will has been deferring. I know the specific quality of ambition that treats illness as a scheduling conflict rather than a verdict. You inventory the aspirin, the vitamin C, the cough syrup, the milk of magnesia, and you call the inventory a plan. You refuse the bed because the bed is where the professional self goes to die. Anne's list of what she has already consumed is both comic and alarming: 4 aspirin, 6 vitamin C, 2 spoonfuls of cough syrup, a package of Robitussin, some milk of magnesia. She is stuffed, she announces. The joke is the sound of a woman who has begun to medicate the symptoms so that the cause can remain unaddressed for one more critical day. The meeting with Henderson is not only a business obligation, it is the external proof that the independent life she has built is still viable. To miss it because of a fever would be to allow the body to rewrite the story of competence she has been telling herself for years. Barbara's telephone performance for the grandmother is a small masterpiece of protective lying. The trained seal, the dog that Schneider does not permit the rapid improvisation of excuses designed to keep Catherine Romano from boarding whatever bus or taxi will bring her to the apartment. I have made versions of those calls. The adult child becomes the gatekeeper trying to preserve the sick parent's remaining autonomy against the incoming tide of maternal care that will not negotiate. The gatekeeping almost always fails. Grandmothers who have already decided to come have a way of hearing the fever through the denial. Catherine hears it. She arrives with a new salad bowl, the ingredients for a Caesar salad, and the full unstoppable momentum of a woman who has spent decades converting worry into practical action. The collision between Anne's need to remain a functioning professional and Catherine's need to mother is one of the series' most precisely observed intergenerational fights. Anne wants the meeting. Catherine wants the bed, the cold cloths, the roll away, the lullaby. The lullaby is the detail that undoes me every time. Anne is too old for it. Catherine is not too old to sing it. The singing is both an act of love and an act of reclamation. For the duration of the song, Anne is returned to the status of the difficult child who would not take her aspirin without cocoa, the child whose mother dissolved a second aspirin in the drink after the first had been emptied into the toilet. The memory is tender and slightly punitive. It reminds Anne that the competence she values so highly was built on top of years of being managed and that the management has never fully ended. When Anne finally sleeps, the alarm clock becomes the contested instrument of will. Catherine turns it off. The act is simple, almost administrative, and it carries the full force of a maternal judgment: you need rest more than you need this meeting. The judgment may be medically correct. It is also a direct override of Anne's adult authority over her own time and her own professional survival. I have been both the person who turned off the alarm and the person who woke to discover the override. Neither position is comfortable. The one who turns it off is protecting a body that has stopped protecting itself. The one who wakes is discovering that the protection has cost her the very proof of competence she was trying to preserve. The morning confrontation is raw in a way the series rarely allows its arguments to become. Anne's fury at the missed meeting is indistinguishable from her fury at having been returned, however briefly, to the status of someone whose schedule can be rewritten by a parent. Catherine's defense is the classic maternal defense: she did what she thought was right. The body needed rest. A mother knows. The exchange about the milkman, Catherine reducing Henderson to a milkman, Anne insisting on the corporate title, is the perfect crystallization of the larger conflict. To Catherine, the meeting is an external demand that can be subordinated to health. To Anne, the meeting is the evidence that she is still a person whose time has value in the adult economy. The reduction to milkman is experienced as a reduction of the self she has labored to construct. Nick's arrival with the news of the blown meeting and the coffee thrown at the wall adds the external consequence to the internal one. The professional damage is real. Henderson has left in a rage. The account is, if not completely lost, then severely compromised. Anne's apology is complicated by the residual fever and by the knowledge that the apology cannot restore the hours that were taken from her. The subsequent fight over whether the roll-away bed stays or goes is the territorial dispute that always follows a crisis of autonomy. Catherine will not leave until Anne is better. Anne needs her to leave in order to begin repairing the damage. Barbara and Schneider become the uncomfortable witnesses and occasional referees caught between the two generations of Romano women who are each convinced that the other is making the situation worse. What moves me most in this sequence is the particular betrayal Anne experiences at the hands of her own body. The flu is not a random misfortune. It is the accumulated result of the Chicago trip, the sexual tension, the lost account, the unresolved currents with Nick, the constant low-grade emergency of keeping a small business and a household afloat. The body has been taking notes while the will insisted on forward motion. When the notes are finally presented, they arrive as fever. As the inability to type, as the sleep that cannot be fought off once the lullaby has done its work. Anne's rage at Catherine is partly rage at the body itself for having colluded with the maternal intervention. The alarm clock was the last instrument of resistance. Once it was turned off, the body's verdict became final. I have sat in the aftermath of similar overrides, my own and those I have inflicted, and felt the same complicated mixture of gratitude and resentment. The care is real. The rest is needed. The professional cost is also real, and it is not evenly distributed. Catherine will return to her own life having expressed love in the language she knows. Anne will remain inside the wreckage of the meeting, the compromised account. The knowledge that her claim to adult self-management has been publicly contradicted by a fever and a turned-off alarm. The series does not resolve the contradiction. It simply places both women inside it and lets the placement hurt. The roll-away bed becomes the physical symbol of the unresolved struggle. Catherine wants it to stay as the evidence of continued care. Anne wants it gone as the evidence that the emergency has ended and ordinary adult life can resume. Schneider's reluctant involvement in the physical moving of the bed places him once again in the position of the man who must manage the practical consequences of other people's emotional weather. His presence is comic and necessary. It is also a reminder that the household's infrastructure, human and mechanical, is always being asked to absorb more strain than it was designed for. By the time the immediate crisis settles, Anne has been forced into a recognition she has spent the entire composite script trying to avoid. The independent life is still dependent. It is dependent on the body that can be felled by a flu. It is dependent on the mother who can still override an alarm clock. It is dependent on the partner who arrives with news of coffee on the wall and the residual hope that the account can still be salvaged. The recognition is not a defeat exactly. It is a recalibration. The will remains. The ambition remains, but both must now operate inside the knowledge that the body and the older generation still hold veto power they have not fully surrendered. The telephone poles of Barbara's earlier restlessness and the pink suitcase of the Chicago trip and the army surplus blanket of Schneider's fantasy all share weather with Anne's fever. Each is about the limits of the stories we tell to keep ourselves in motion. Anne's story has been that competence and scheduling and the refusal of need would be sufficient. The flu, the lullaby, and the turned-off alarm clock have collectively rewritten that story. The meeting has been missed. The copy is unfinished. The mother is still in the apartment. And Anne Romano, who has spent years treating her body as a resource to be spent, has been forced to discover that the resource can call in its own debts at the most inconvenient possible hour. The oatmeal is the first instrument of the reversed rain. I have always watched the spoon approach Catherine's mouth with the same mixture of comedy and unease that I bring to any scene in which care is being administered against resistance. Anne has spent the preceding day fighting to retain control of her schedule, her meeting her adult claim on time. Now, she sits on the edge of the sofa holding a bowl of oatmeal and attempting to feed the woman who turned off the alarm clock. The airplane hangar game, open up the hangar and let the plane fly in, is the exact ritual Catherine once used on her. The series does not need to underline the symmetry. The symmetry is the entire point. The child who once emptied aspirin into the toilet is now the adult trying to get a spoonful of bland cereal past the same stubborn lips. Catherine's resistance is the resistance of a woman who has suddenly been returned to the status of patient and who finds the return intolerable. The sofa is too short, the room is too hot, the cooking is lousy. Each complaint is both genuine and strategic, a way of refusing the helplessness that illness has imposed. Anne's patience frays in exact proportion to the number of complaints. The woman who insisted she was fine while running a fever is now discovering how difficult it is to remain gentle when the person being cared for will not grant the caretaker any grace. I have been on both sides of this exchange. The discovery is always the same: care is easier to romanticize than to perform, and the performance is hardest when the recipient is the person who once performed it for you. The guilt that Catherine deploys is of a particular generational vintage. The Eskimos putting their old people on ice floes. The claim that Anne no longer loves her. The performance of departure: I'm just going to go find an iceberg and float off with a walrus, that is designed to produce the exact protest it receives. Anne's response is the adult child's classic bind. She must both reject the emotional blackmail and still provide the reassurance that the blackmail is demanding. The series lets the bind stand without resolving it into a tidy lesson about communication. These two women have been practicing versions of this dance for decades. The steps are familiar, the music is the same. Only the immediate illness has changed the tempo. Barbara's offer to stay home and care for Catherine while Anne goes to salvage what remains of the Henderson meeting is the next generation's attempt to intervene in the cycle. The offer is practical and also a quiet claim to competence. Barbara has watched the collision between her mother and grandmother and has decided that she can occupy the mediating position. The decision is both generous and self-protective. By inserting herself as caretaker, she temporarily removes herself from the more complicated emotional weather of Anne's professional crisis and the residual currents with Nick. The series has always understood that caretaking can function as a form of escape as well as a form of love. When Catherine's own fever or the performance of fever asserts itself, the reversal becomes complete. The woman who arrived with salad bowl authority is now the one being told to sit to stay to open her mouth for the airplane. Anne's earlier rage at the turned-off alarm softens into a weary recognition. The recognition is not quite forgiveness. It is the more complicated knowledge that the maternal drive to override another person's will in the name of care is not a personal failing of Catherine's. It is an inheritance. Anne has already begun to express versions of it with Barbara. The flu has simply forced the inheritance into the open where it can be seen operating in both directions at once. The conversation about how hard it is to play nursemaid is the sequence's quiet center. Anne admits that Catherine always made it look easy. Catherine's reply, "Maybe that's because I was your mother," carries the full weight of a lifetime of unpaid, unacknowledged labor. The series does not sentimentalize the labor. It simply lets the two women sit inside the mutual discovery that the care each has given and received has always been more difficult than it appeared from the outside. Anne's earlier certainty that she could manage her own illness without interference is revealed as the luxury of someone who has not yet been forced to inhabit the other side of the spoon. I have sat with my own mother through versions of this reversal, and I have felt the same destabilizing shift in the gravitational field of the relationship. The parent who once seemed to possess an inexhaustible capacity for care is suddenly finite, irritable, dependent on the same small comforts she once dispensed. The child who once received that care is suddenly responsible for its continuation, and the responsibility arrives without the accompanying fantasy of effortless competence. The oatmeal is never just oatmeal. It is the tangible evidence that the roles have slipped and that the slipping cannot be reversed by simple force of will. The arrival of Catherine's own mother, Anne's grandmother, completes the cycle with almost mathematical perfection. The oldest woman enters with the same unstoppable certainty that Catherine brought to Anne's apartment only a day earlier. The salad bowl is replaced by milquetoast. The cold cloths are replaced by the threat of a mustard plaster and an enema. The language of care grows more archaic and more invasive as it moves backward through the generations. Catherine, who only hours before was the authoritative mother, is now the resistant daughter protesting the oatmeal, the heat, the indignity of being managed. Anne watches the reversal with the stunned recognition of someone who has just seen the entire pattern laid out in 3 living bodies. The mustard plaster and the enema are not merely comic period details. They are the older generation's technologies of care, invasive by modern standards yet offered with the same absolute conviction that Catherine brought to the turned-off alarm clock. The series does not ask us to adjudicate which generation's methods are superior. It only shows us that each generation's methods feel like violence to the generation that is subjected to them, and like necessary love to the generation that administers them. The enema threat is the final, almost absurd expression of a continuum that began with Anne's refusal to stay in bed and ends with the oldest woman searching for a clean pan. What the sequence ultimately reveals is the impossibility of clean autonomy inside a family that still believes in care. Anne wanted to manage her flu and her meeting without interference. Catherine wanted to save her daughter from the consequences of that management. The great-grandmother wants to save Catherine from the modern insufficiency of oatmeal and rest. Each intervention is experienced as an override. Each override is offered as love. The cycle does not break. It only rotates. The woman who is currently holding the spoon will in time be the woman whose mouth is being asked to open. The knowledge of that rotation is what settles over the apartment in the final movements of the arc. I carry this sequence with me as a private map of the way care moves through time. The telephone poles of Barbara's restlessness, the pink suitcase of Anne's Chicago trip, the army surplus blanket of Schneider's fantasy, and the fever that finally felled Anne's ambition are all part of the same weather system. But the oatmeal and the mustard plaster belong to a deeper, older pattern, the pattern by which women in this family have always converted fear into practical action, and by which the recipients of that action have always experienced it as both salvation and erasure. Anne has spent the composite script trying to write a story of adult self-sufficiency. The flu, the alarm clock, the lullaby, the oatmeal and finally the great-grandmother's enema have collectively rewritten the story as one of inevitable rotating dependence. The apartment by the end of the sequence contains 3 generations of Romano women, each of them simultaneously caretaker and patient, each of them certain that her own methods are the ones that will finally restore order. The series does not choose among the methods. It simply places them in the same rooms and lets the placement produce its mixture of comedy and recognition. The pipes are still knocking. The accounts are still in jeopardy. The larger world of deportations and business trips and forbidden attractions continues outside. Inside, the oldest technologies of care are still being deployed, still being resisted, still being handed down. The cycle does not end. It only waits for the next fever, the next alarm clock, the next spoon. I return to the title, the way I return to an old address that still knows my name, one day at a time. 4 words that once sounded like a modest survival strategy and have come, over decades of living with this series, to feel like the most precise description of how ordinary love actually works. Not the permanent salvation of the grand gesture. Not the clean resolution of the technicality that holds. Just the daily imperfect practice of remaining inside the rooms where the people you love continue to need things you cannot always supply, and of allowing yourself to need things in return. The composite script I have been living inside across these pages is a catalogue of temporary salvations that fail in instructive ways. Barbara's technicality fails because Eduardo refuses to be saved on terms that would cost him his own courage. Anne and Nick's mutual fiction of pure professionalism fails because a lip twitch and a jealous critique of a layout prove stronger than the story they were telling. Schneider's carefully managed loyalty fails to protect him from the knowledge of the itchy blanket and the seagulls. Anne's ambition fails to outrun a fever and a turned-off alarm clock. Catherine's authoritative care fails to prevent her from becoming the resistant patient in the next rotation of the cycle. Each failure is specific. Collectively, they form the series' deepest argument. The large solutions we reach for when the ordinary circuit of our days becomes unbearable almost never deliver the permanence we imagined. What remains after the solutions collapse is the slower work of staying. I have spent much of my adult life reaching for temporary salvations of my own. Some were political, some were romantic, some were the simple belief that a change of city or job or schedule would rearrange the interior weather. Most of them held for a while and then revealed their limits. The series has been a private companion through those revelations because it never treats the reaching as foolish. Barbara's hunger to do something worthwhile is real. Anne's need to keep the business and the household from collapsing is real. Schneider's desire for a belonging that does not first require him to be useful is real. The series honors the hunger even as it records the cost of the particular forms the hunger takes. That double movement, respect for the longing, clarity about the price, is the quality I have found hardest to find elsewhere in the popular culture of its period or our own. What the series still knows and what I keep returning to learn again is that permanent love is not the opposite of temporary salvation. It is what becomes possible when the temporary solutions have been exhausted and the people involved decide to remain anyway. Anne does not stop being Barbara's mother when the almost wedding collapses. She does not stop being Nick's partner when the kiss complicates the business. Schneider does not stop being Beer Belly's friend when the rendezvous room has been survived. Catherine does not stop being Anne's mother when the oatmeal is refused. The relationships persist past the failure of the grand fixes, and in that persistence there is a quieter, less photogenic form of grace. I think often of the telephone poles that opened the entire composite script. They were the first honest map of limited possibility, the visible infrastructure of a life that had begun to feel too small. Barbara looked at them and decided the view had to change. The change she reached for was dramatic, legal, irreversible in intention if not in fact. When it failed, the poles were still there. The number 81 bus still ran. The volleyballs still needed marking down. And yet, something in the quality of her attention had shifted. She had tested the edge of her own capacity for large action and had been returned to the ordinary circuit with a different knowledge of what the circuit contained. The series does not call this growth in the language of self-help. It simply places her back inside the apartment and lets the placement carry its own meaning. The same return happens to each of them. Anne is returned from the Chicago hotel rooms and the fever bed to the ongoing negotiation with Nick and the ongoing responsibility for the household. Schneider is returned from the beach fantasy, and the 3 in the morning crisis to the pipes and the trophy in the solitary apartment downstairs. Catherine is returned from the position of authoritative caretaker to the position of the daughter who must now accept milquetoast and the threat of a mustard plaster. The returns are not defeats. They are the series' realism about where most of life is actually lived, not at the pitch of crisis but in the long aftermath where the crisis has to be folded back into the daily practice of remaining. I have come to believe that the series' enduring power lies in its refusal to treat that aftermath as merely residual. The aftermath is the main event, the almost wetting, the kiss, the near betrayal, the fever. These are the weather systems that reveal the landscape. The landscape itself is the ongoing life of people who continue to share rooms and meals and financial anxiety in the particular history that only they know. One day at a time is not a story about how the large gestures save us. It is a story about how we continue after the large gestures have done what they can and then stopped. The cultural weather in which the series first aired has changed in countless ways. The specific legal and social conditions that made Barbara's technicality both plausible and dangerous have shifted. The particular forms of midlife female restlessness that Catherine and Anne inhabit have been renamed and remarketed several times over. The male loneliness that Schneider carries has been given new vocabularies and new pathologizing frames. And yet, when I return to these episodes, I do not feel that I am visiting a museum. I feel that I am being told the truth about something that has not been solved by the intervening decades, the difficulty of remaining inside ordinary love, when ordinary love keeps failing to be enough, and the equal difficulty of abandoning it when the temporary salvations reveal their limits. The laughter in these episodes has always been part of the truth-telling. It is not the laughter of superior distance. It is the laughter of recognition, the sound people make when the gap between what they needed and what they received has become visible and is for a moment bearable because it is shared. Schneider's comic fluency, Anne's dry precision, Barbara's restless sincerity, Catherine's theatrical guilt, all of them are forms of the same ongoing negotiation with disappointment and persistence. The series lets the laughter and the disappointment occupy the same frame without forcing one to cancel the other. That permission is rarer than it should be. I am older now than Anne was in these episodes, older than Catherine in some of them. The telephone poles of my own early restlessness have been replaced by other limited views. I have reached for my own technicalities and watched them fail. I have turned off alarm clocks and had them turned off on me. I have sat across tables from people I was not supposed to want and felt the lip twitch of a fiction beginning to crack. I have chosen loyalty that cost me something, and I have been the beneficiary of loyalties I could not fully repay. The series has been company through all of it, not because it offered solutions but because it refused to pretend that the solutions were the point. What it still knows and what I still come to hear is that the permanent love is not the love that never needs temporary salvation. It is the love that survives the failure of the temporary, that continues after the large action has collapsed, that finds a way to remain inside the rooms where the oatmeal is refused and the pipes continue to knock and the accounts remain in jeopardy. One day at a time is not a modest slogan. It is the most accurate description I have found of how the lasting attachments actually proceed, not by solving the weather but by continuing to live inside it together imperfectly, without the guarantee that the next day will be easier. Only the quieter guarantee that we will still be there when it arrives. The composite script ends as these stories often do, without a final cadence of resolution. Eduardo has walked away. The kiss has complicated the partnership. Selma has returned to Beerbelly. The fever has broken and the great-grandmother has arrived with her older technologies of care. None of the original hungers has been permanently satisfied. And yet the apartment is still occupied. The relationships are still in motion. The daily practice of remaining has not been abandoned. That, finally, is what the series knows, and what it has been trying to tell us across all the seasons, and all the temporary salvations that could not hold the point was never the large solution. The point was the continuing, I close the script the way I have closed it many times before, with the sense that I have been told something true about the shape of ordinary endurance, and with the private gratitude that the telling required no perfection from anyone involved. The telephone poles are still standing. The pink suitcase has been returned. The army surplus blanket remains folded in the private mind. The alarm clock will be set again, and somewhere in the ongoing weather of these lives, people who have already failed each other in significant ways are still finding the daily means to stay. One day at a time. It is not a small knowledge. It may be the only kind that lasts.